Debate, Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe. Hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere, and there's also a Ko-Fi, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Speaking of patrons, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon. So, a massive shout of thanks and appreciation to Amish, Vitali Z, Colton James, BG, Survive the Spin, FE Patriot, Steve, On the Level, Thomas van der Zander, Gary Hughes, Measured Flat, Chris Wouters, Pitch Data Time, Mitch Kennedy, Rod, Twad Wazzle, Jason Hornsby, Christoph Fournier, Flat Earth Travolta, J Mels 24, Unimento, M, Iron26, Endless, Golden McKinnon, Retro Bill, John Kays, Patrick Gunnels, Banter, Hairy Blade, Mobile Max 777, Rob W, Del West Watson, Unbelievable Productions, Blue Ridge Ranger, Abraham Mohammed, Skeptic 936, Texas Mike, Chow Yun Cat, David Wayne Foster, and Dank. So another massive thank you to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. Now I'll hand over to whoever is in Discord and the Flat Earth Debate Discord server, so you can enjoy their dulcet tones while I set up for today's live show.
Flying the sock line. That's what he was doing. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So it wasn't doing maintenance on the lines. It was building lines.
New construction.
Yeah. Incredible.
Yeah.
I'll give it to you, blokes. He's a middle of a stormy weather when people lose their power and they're cursing and screaming about their power being off. They forget that you blokes are out there crawling across HV lines trying to get it all working, you know. But that's when I did my engineer diploma of technology. That's what I did. I did it in transmission. So that's where I did my engineering degree. But but I've over many years I've seen 4 guys lose their life.
Yeah.
So including one apprentice, which was pretty hard to take. And even myself, I've had 2 massive shocks that I should have died, but I'm still here. So after many years, after what's it now? Because I've been doing my degree, engineering degree, part time, now the masters. So this is 13 years now of study. So this is my last year, thank God.
That's a lot of studying time.
Well, when you're working full time, running a business and looking after a sick wife, it's very hard to find the time to study, but somehow I did it. So, yeah, I'm very proud of myself.
They should be. So you've transitioned into this subject whilst doing that study. So 13, 12 years ago, there wasn't any of this around, was there? There was the dying remnants of the stuff from the 2000s, and that's about it. But none of us were aware of it.
Any of what, sorry?
It was the end of the stuff from the 2000s, so there was a resurgence before us. It's just that had all died off completely, and none of us were aware of it. We now, after coming to the subject, have found out that there was stuff going on in the 2000s. It's just we weren't part of it or aware of it, and none of it's now left documented to any of our knowledge that's easily, showable.
You mean flat Earth?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No. No. I come across this as part of a study group in the very first year I started engineering, which was back in, I'd say, 2008.
Huh?
So back then we had well, I think this was even before YouTube become like YouTube. But back then, I think YouTube had just started, but it was like an intellectual type thing where companies would run their products, but it wasn't like for the average Joe Blow that would start a page. Back then we had IRC, internet relay chats, and back then my brother got me into one of those chats, and we were well, this would have been late 2008. We were, like what we would call anti-flat earthers. We were like making jokes about these flat earth groups that were there.
Okay.
Until I started to listen to what they were saying, and thinking back, like a lot of the subjects that have been championed now, they've got they've got a lot of like case study behind them. But back then they were championed, but
Hey, Joe, I don't mean to interrupt you. I was going to ask Nathan if he knew he didn't post the link. He might not even be at his computer. I'm sorry for interrupting you. I am so sorry.
Yeah, I've posted it now.
No, that's okay. I was just saying, like back then, a lot of the subjects that are talked about now were touched on back then, but obviously people didn't have the knowledge to be able to platform them. But I think that all changed when, I guess, around about 2012, like 2012, 2013. So everyone knows about the movie The Principal, which came out in 2014, but the actual parts of the movie actually were released from early 2010. So that movie it had started to be made in 2000. It was actually made in 2009, 2010, but wasn't fully published until late 2014. But parts of it were released to the public, segments of it, and I think that's when people really had the ability to challenge mainstream pseudoscience. But yeah, like I think I'm one of the very, very early ones. So my brother brought me into one of those IRCs. One of my older brothers. He's still a geocentrist, like Robert Sungenist lover. He hasn't been able to make the full transition. He's a maths and physics teacher, and we have loads of discussions and debates. And he did promise me the next discussion that we could have, I could record. So that'd be fun to record that.
Cool. Can't wait. Hey, Sensual. Hey,
Anyway,
Kim.
that's enough.
Hello.
Mic check.
That's all good.
No, it's not working.
See if we can get Diego to locally mute himself. Diego, can you hear us?
Yes, I do.
Can you pop yourself on local mute?
Yeah, give me a second.
Thanks.
Yeah, the thing with the ego is
It's not working. Hitting it is not working. I'm gonna drop off.
well, hold on. I was just gonna go put you back on local mute. I mean, server mute. You see the thing with Diego, he's on a phone, and sometimes phone users, when they get a call or something happens, it takes them off mute. So sometimes
There we go.
phone users.
I got it worked now.
Well,
It wasn't working, so I got it.
All right. So Diego didn't
Yeah.
mind being on server mute before, but if it happens again, you could just pop him on local or on server mute, and he's okay with it.
Okay.
Thanks for letting me know, Flatsy, because I did just get a phone call yesterday. And believe it or not, I was off mute.
Yeah, no worries, man. I get it. It happens to me a lot now.
Yeah, I heard that part of the show. I would have just server muted Neil. He's a big boy.
Yeah, do that. That's what Adam was doing all the time. I was like, what the heck? I come back, I'm looking, I'm on mute.
It was actually a good time for me to say it. It didn't interrupt too much. Because I felt like Huey was about to address it, and I had already seen it happening. I have two screens that I'm looking at, so I could see a lot of things all at once.
Hello,
So,
Foxy.
Nathan,
I
did
haven't
you
heard
hear
you in a
it?
while. Nice to hear your voice.
See a message under, I don't know what video it is, but it's got a picture of Will Duffy. YouTube channel at Brian's Logic has pitch data showing and proving that Earth is flat. Let's see your enthusiasm for pitch data time.
Yeah, let's see if he responds to that. I doubt he will.
We shall see.
Well, there's two videos. It's up to you which one if you want to do a video. There's one by Mr. Sensible recently about air travel. He takes a camera on board and takes pictures out the window, and that's his evidence of a sphere. It's quite comical. And then the second video is a gentleman who's apparently been researching globe versus flat for 3 years. It's all right. It's a bit of a laugh here and there.
It's not the Globers, it's the pretender clown flat earthers. I had a guy challenging me yesterday on natural law. He said it don't exist. I'm like, so you're telling me hot doesn't always go to cold? He said, I don't know, does it? I mean, this is what you're getting, and this is why we're laughed at.
Where was that, Neil?
I kept popping in and out because AI was changing history yesterday. And when I popped in and he wasn't there, I think it was somebody named Denmark, which he is he always challenges everything. He calls me stupid. I told him because I asked you at one time, Nathan, and you were telling me that it's descriptions of what we see happening here on Earth. But no.
No. Descriptions of that which occurs always.
Right.
Do any of them two videos sound appealing to you, Nathan, at all?
Yeah, I like the look of the one that I researched Flat Earth for 3 years, part 1, The Journey. So I've queued that one up.
Okay, it's about 30 minutes, that.
Okay. Have a listen.
I wanted to prove once and for all that the flat earth theory is stupid and it makes no sense, but I failed at every step. I've done my research for over 3 years. I saved and I documented everything, and I'm gonna show you exactly what I found. Let's talk about it.
I thought we did this already.
Yeah, there is a...
Flat Earth is the #1 conspiracy theory in the world. That's the
Not a conspiracy theory. Nor is it a theory. It's not scientific. You're in a category error. Measurements of Earth are flat. That's not conspiratorial in any way, shape, or form.
Mother of all conspiracies. And what I
Nope. No. It's the mother of all measurements.
always thought that it's stupid, first of all. And second, I thought that the bad guys, those who are responsible for all the other conspiracies, they invented this theory so they can ridicule all.
Yeah, it's not a theory. Earth's just measured flat. No invention of anything is required. Quite the contrary. What you need to invent is something that isn't flat Earth, call it flat Earth, and then introduce it to a load of numpty conspiratards. So they talk about that. Anything but the Earth's actual measurements.
All the other conspiracy theories. Does that make sense?
No, definitely not. Not if you understand the subject, it doesn't.
So I always thought that it's stupid because it sounds stupid.
Yeah, we had that. This is the second time you've said it. We understand already from your opener that you thought it was stupid. So what do you think you need to reiterate? That which you believed?
Right? We know we live on a globe. But it always came back to my life and I saw it here and
You know you live on a globe. Bias much? No, you don't know you live on a globe. You believe you live on a globe based on measurements of a flat plane that calculate sphericity into existence in your mind only. There is no curved surface to measure, and you cannot measure one. We measure Earth flat. So no, you've got it all backwards, my friend. You believe you're on a sphere. You don't know anything by the sounds of things and looks of things.
there. So I decided that I'm gonna end this debate once and for all. I'm gonna prove.
You think you are going to end this debate once and for all, do you? Oh, wow, how arrogant. What in your arsenal of things are going to end this conclusively? It's the biggest conspiracy in the world, according to him, but he thinks he can end it. Oh, really?
What debate?
Exactly. He doesn't even know that he's in a category error.
Hey, Nathan. He's not keeping up with current events. We already ended the debate. We're just educating people now.
Yeah, now we tell, not debate, people about how Earth is measured. I'm going to tell you, Earth's measured flat. Your fundy sphere belief is based on those measurements. Tell me you know it's a globe. All you're doing is demonstrating your bias.
Globe, and we can forget flat earth theory once and for all. But as I said, I failed. I was never a flat earther. I always believed in the globe, and I even used the globe as a thumbnail for some of my previous videos. As I said, I researched it for over 3 years. I had a lot of questions, I'm sure you have too, and as I said, I documented everything that I found. So I'm not here to tell you whether the earth is a globe or it's flat. I'm here to
I'll do it for you. It's definitely not a globe. It's definitely flat. The globe was made with flat Earth measurements. So your belief in a globe requires a flat Earth be measured for your belief. So if you're pondering which it is, ponder no more. Earth is measured flat and your globe faith comes from those measurements.
show you exactly what I found during my research, and you can decide for yourself. Fair enough? Welcome to Mystery Teachings. My name is Gergő. If you are new to the channel, then greetings and namaste. Or if you are a returning beautiful soul, hey, thanks for coming back. I appreciate you. Before I started this whole investigation, I knew one thing. If I want to get a clear picture of what's going on and which side is true, I need to put aside everything that I think, I believe, or I feel about the Earth, and in this case, the globe itself. So it doesn't matter how stupid I think flat Earth is, I need to be open-minded, and I promise myself that...
Just go out and measure it. That's it. You need to put aside any beliefs you have or concern yourself with how biased you may be about one side or another. Just go out and measure it. If you're looking at what Earth is, just go out and measure it. That's it. Then you'll know.
That I'm gonna look at both sides with an open mind. I just step aside and I look at it as an observer.
So when you're asking about what aspects of Earth may be, and then ascribing them by your belief of ball shapes, then you'd need to just confirm one or the other, and that would require you to measure it, wouldn't it?
And that's exactly what I'm asking from you as well.
I don't need to ask anybody to do anything if I'm telling them how Earth is measured. Yeah? If you're my audience, man, you don't have to do anything. I'm telling you. It's measured flat.
Put aside everything you believe and let me take you to a journey that you have.
No, so I don't have to preface that with, hey, audience, put aside your beliefs. Open your mind. Do your own research. Now listen to a diatribe of nonsense that will take you nowhere and leave you doing some research of your own if you want any conclusions, because I won't bleed and give you any. But I'll give you a load of nonsense waffle that you might have to believe in, but I'll tell you not to believe me, and I'll tell you to do your own research, and I'll tell you to keep an open mind. That's what this guy's doing. Me, I don't do any of that. I don't need any prerequisites or prefacing when I say Earth's measured flat. It's just a statement of fact. Do I need my audience to concern themselves with whether or not they have to believe me? No, I don't care. Oh, you don't believe me? Couldn't give a crap. Don't care if you don't believe me. It is measured flat. Now, there's one way of checking if that's right or not. But it doesn't involve you believing me. At all. I'm telling you. Yeah, very assertively in this instance. Telling this guy, yo, dude, Earth's measured flat. That's not a question. It's not the opener to a debate either. It's me telling you.
Never been before. And even though we have a lot of photos and videos of the Earth, and this is the first thing that we learn as a child. As soon as we're born, the first thing we know that we live on.
Before you understand your own emotions, feelings, and have got full-size bones, you already, quote, know you're on a... No, you don't. You've just given this lamp and told that you're on a globe. And because you're a young mind that can't critically think, you accept it because you told it. Now, I'm not appealing to children when I tell you, a fully grown adult, that we measure Earth flat, because I know you can go out and check whether or not I'm correct, don't I? These children who are told it's a globe, they have no ability to go out and verify what they're being told by the adults in their lives. They have no ability to do that. That's why they're told at that age. Me, I'm dealing with adults. I'm telling adults that were poisoned at birth with this belief that the actuality is Earth's measured flat. And you can, and probably will, or will not, depending on your ilk, check whether or not that's the case. Now, the ones that won't will just brace against me and tell me that I'm not to be trusted. Like I care.
On a globe, I know, but still, what made me start this journey in the first place was the fact that the number of people who believe in flat Earth is growing massively.
So you're a consensus cuck. Oh, more people believe it. I better follow that bandwagon just in case, if there's lots of people on it. For the last few weeks, I've been saying it wouldn't make the slightest making difference if I was the only person who realised these facts. If I was the only one who knew Earth was measured flat, wouldn't change any practical application of the measurements of Earth. It is what it is. Doesn't matter to me if there's a bazillion people who believe something. If I want to take that attitude, I'll believe in the next religion because there's more in that religion than there are flat earthers. Who cares? Doesn't matter what the consensus believe. Doesn't matter what the percentages are for consensus belief. Like I say, it doesn't matter if it's one person.
Even the media reported it. Check this out.
Wow, well, if it's on TV...
The round or spherical Earth theory.
Sorry, is this a picture? These little labels, something that you took pictures of. Oh, it's CGI clouds and a black area that, if real, would have these high-pressure gas systems expanding into the area of vacuum 10 to the minus 17 too, represented as a black area. Yeah, if the sky was 10 to the minus 17 tall, then all of the high pressure gas would fill this space, making this instantaneously fake. But your critical eye has recognised that when it's got literally words flying around it. This isn't a photo. There is no space to go and get photos from. You'd know that if you had any discernment, or appreciate that there's laws of nature. Entropy, dispersion of gas, would be described in the entropic law, known as the second law of thermodynamics. This violates it. So it's fake.
Is propagated by some conspiracy.
And the number of people who think so is growing. Thousands, if not millions of people believe the world is flat.
All idiots. We know it's flat here on Flat Earth Debate. Unfortunately, they take the facts of Earth being measured flat and turn them into nonsensical fantasies about ice walls, about domes. Yeah? You lace that with a bit of 9/11 truth, and Bob's your uncle. You've got a whole bunch of what she says is millions of people who believe in a fact. There's no belief needed. Yeah, we've got lots of flat Earth believers, haven't we? Well, jobs are good on the part of the people who don't want people to know it's flat. Give them all a belief that isn't about Earth at all, about Admiral Byrd and ice walls, and then they won't know it's flat ever. They'll just believe it the whole time. Much easier to brace against if we're lying to them about Earth being a sphere based on flat Earth measurements. Good.
You forgot Shambhala.
Oh yeah, we've got to believe in Admiral Byrd flying accidentally into Shambhala. Part of the story is a flat Earth, after all. Meanwhile, Earth's just measured flat. There's nothing more to it. It's really simple. Right, I've got 10 minutes before we actually go live, and we've got a little chunk of it out of the way because it's long. Hopefully we can cover the rest of it in the live show.
How did Admiral Byrd navigate to Antarctica to begin with?
Flat, with elevation angles and maps that were flat, that were produced based on flat Earth.
With star charts that were left over from Cook and Clark et al.
Yeah, flat. As they will be in a couple of weeks when some numpties go down with an assumption of antipodal positioning to Antarctica, but traverse the terrain flat with flat maps, flat charts, flat systems. That's what's going to happen. Idiots. And flat pitch data, right, Sensual?
Right on.
Hey, Nathan, after the show today, could you hang around after the after show?
Sure. I'm getting an award.
Hey, y'all. What was that, Elijah? Hello, y'all.
Hello.
Hello.
Good show yesterday on QEs. I especially like the parts with me in.
Elijah, I watched a little bit of that Killah Priest podcast with you on it, and very good job. I haven't seen all of it, but it was such a good conversation that you guys were having. So I really enjoyed it. I got to
Awesome.
finish it.
I haven't got around to watching it yet, I've got to be honest. I'm so sorry. I will, though. We should actually cover it. Should we cover it tomorrow?
I think so.
Yeah,
it
you
wouldn't
would.
be a treat. As a review goes, there's not really much to review. He did pretty much everything right. You might get him on like wandering into the weeds once or twice, but that's about it.
Did you wander into the weeds, Eli?
Will you definitely be
Not
here
long.
tomorrow, Eli?
Yeah.
Where's the
It'll
link to
definitely
it?
take away the FED bad stigma.
Where's the link?
Oh, hold on, let me post it. Well, it's in Master D.
I know there's been several posted already. I just got around to clicking on it and watching it.
Yeah, every time that Elijah would bring up Flat Earth, he did very well. It wasn't just about Flat Earth, though, so you would have to maybe either get a timestamp, but there's several, I mean, from what I can tell, there was one area where he talked about it, and he's probably going to talk about it again eventually when they get around to him. They're talking to a whole panel of folks. It's the primary subject isn't flat Earth, but it's a part of it.
And that's the point. The reason I thought that this would be a good video review, not because it's mine, is number one, it was told that and everyone can have their own opinion, but Brian was told that he wouldn't be um invited, I guess, by what he wouldn't use his relationship to link him with Tim Pool because basically Brian is uncontrollable. Whatever he said, because I don't want to put words in his mouth, but basically Brian would be unpalpable. And so I said, well, that's crazy. The person who was unpalpable during their debate with Brian would say that. And not only that, you keep insinuating that in order to go on these big platforms, uh, you don't have to do the FED thing. You don't have to do the rah 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 thing. But I didn't do that when I was on Killah Priest. I just laid out the argument when I had a chance. I asked for the room and I got it. It didn't take any more than 5 minutes.
I can't wait.
You were brilliant. Killah, you were actually brilliant on that podcast.
We need to listen to it.
I'll tell you what, it's gaslighting is what it is, because we're the ones that get treated like that wherever we go.
Exactly.
We're the ones that get shut down, silenced, give the other guy 25 minutes to talk shit and then as soon as we speak, we're shut down. We're the ones that are treated like that. It's so garbage.
Right, who's got a link to it then? Because I've looked through Ballbusters and Master B and I can't see it in either. And someone's got to be able to post this Killah Priest podcast link.
With timestamps.
With timestamps. No, not first. QE. Eli will know where to go, roughly, as I whiz through it.
I posted it to 11:33.
To 11:33. Perfect. Thank you, Eli.
Flatsy, was there anything more than earlier than that? Because it was a long show. And then you see me go back and forth with one of his panel members towards the end, but I didn't find that part.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's sort of at the beginning when everyone was getting introduced. He went through everybody on the panel, and then seemed pretty interested in you. So he got to you kind of first, and let you speak what you needed to speak, and you gave a clear argument about flat Earth. And it was concise and to the point for the most part. I mean, you were kind of had a laid back way of being with them, but you were to the point and concise, and it was great near the beginning. So if there's a place where you got to speak more on it, that might have been later. I haven't gotten to it yet because I was kind of listening to everybody on the panel, like talk about some stuff that I found.
It wasn't bad, right? Yeah.
Right.
Hey, friends, before I have to go, coordinate with Nathan while you guys have his ear to get a contact information that's easy to get in touch with him, like at different hours of the day, because Discord never works with him, so that I could coordinate with him and the other guys that are going to do like the road shows, like the TikTok guy and the X Spaces guy. So please do that for me and let me know what's up. Appreciate it.
No worries.
I got you. Mm-hmm.
Okay, right. I'm at 2:11:33. Right.
Mm-hmm.
You guys, how can we do this? The AD, would you be able to pull up something from YouTube?
Yeah, I can, or I can share your screen. Whatever you want to do.
Pull it up for me because I don't know if it's going to disconnect my audio because I tried to pull up YouTube earlier and it shut me down.
Gotcha. Okay.
So you type in distance to the horizon. So I got basically 2 videos and a Google search. And that's what we're going to do in the way of proving that these people are liars. Then you can go ahead and turn all your ire, disdain, and questions to them, because those are the people we really should be questioning. Y'all are my brothers here.
Now, let me
I just came across some information that I'm trying to relay to other people.
Go ahead,
let
Eli.
me say this real quick.
Sure.
Yeah, saying that there is, I don't want you asking me what's underneath. I don't want you asking me why would they lie. I don't want you asking me anything beyond me showing you how it's measured flat. After that, you need to ask them that, because I didn't come for that. Is basically what I was trying to say.
No, I got that.
Right. The only thing I could disagree with is calling it a lie, because there are people in this subject that are liars, but I don't know if
Everyone that I'm saying is a liar lied about the claim. And I'm trying to point and focus to them that there is one claim.
I got you.
And if any, yep.
People like the brother Tazadak said earlier, I'm just conveying information. That's it.
Okay, which one should I click on?
Keep going down a little bit. Right there. That how does the horizon work video with the green? Yeah. So before we watch this, right?
Okay.
I want y'all to understand out there in the audience that this is the fundamental claim that everything else is built off of. The numbers that, in your mind at least, may or may not be validated yet. Obviously, you're going to believe somebody's validated it. I'm going to say, I know they haven't been validated. But the bottom line is this video is going to basically open up to you what the claim is and what I'll be talking about. It's very simple. Either you accept what he's saying or you don't. If you don't accept what he's saying, then then there's a lot of things that go with not accepting that. And basically, you don't go along with any numbers derived from this knowledge if you don't agree with him. But people don't really understand that because they don't make the connection as to why this is important. So, well, we'll get into it.
Okay.
I'm here to answer a very pressing question. Have you ever been standing at the edge of water, say like an ocean, and looked down on the horizon and said, I wonder exactly how far away that horizon is? You know, where the sky meets the sea, that's the horizon. Well, it turns out about 8 inches like the horizon, which means that the horizon.
So basically what he
blowing, if you ask me. If you like this video, there's plenty more where it came from. You can...
So basically what he just said is the geometric consequence of the Earth being a sphere with a circumference of 25,000 miles roughly, and roughly or an average radius of 3,959 miles. So he said that because the claim is that the Earth is a specific size. That's the only reason he can make that claim.
How are you?
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good day. Good day.
I'm good. Less than slick when I've got the video we were watching in the pre-show up rather than my panel that I need to introduce at the start of the show. Other than that, doing really well. How are you all in Discord? All good, I hope?
Very good.
Good. I'd like to keep...
Thank you.
Jolly good. Now, as you were all privy to us listening to Killah Priest, and I know Jardo's already listened to it and gave a lot of props to Eli, hopefully, I haven't actually asked Killah Priest their permission to play their video, but hopefully they'll be reasonably conciliatory in allowing us to listen back to Eli's performance over on the Killah Priest podcast. And indeed, it's always nice to share the love, regardless of them being considerably larger than ourselves. Please let Killah Priest podcast know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me with a polite comment. Now, I am actually subscribed, I will just admit already, although you can probably see it says I'm subscribed, so there's no point trying to hide it. So I'm a little bit biased because I do watch Killah Priest, but nevertheless, encourage you to do the same. It's good material. And as you can probably see, one of our own is taking part and participating in their shows, which is Eli, which is what we're going to listen to now. So it would be good. I've put a link in the YouTube live stream chat right now to Killah Priest. So please let them know that we sent them along with a polite comment. And I say that with all sincerity for a change. Not like I need to encourage you not to be impolite to them. You can genuinely just go along and in the nicest possible way subscribe, leave them a comment, leave them a like, and enjoy what we play to you now, along with the rest of the material that preceded it. So Kim and Eli were discussing how good the material is before this. I haven't watched any of it. This is my first foray into it, but I'm sure you'll all enjoy the full podcast. But we're specifically focused on the bit that Eli got involved with and talked about Flat Earth. Now, up until now, he's just, in the pre-show, set the stage, got them to play a little video that basically describes the physical geometric sphere edge horizon, and now we're going to actually hear Eli's foray into it for real. But before I do play that, I do want to give the opportunity to the live audience to actually do as I'm suggesting, which is to go along to Killah Priest, let them know, as stated, at Nathan Oakley 1980, all one word, sent me, and really enjoyed hearing Eli, or whatever it is that you get out of the podcast after you subscribe, give them a like, and leave a comment. Hopefully that's enough time for the 40-plus people. I know we've only just started, but whoever's just landed, as we've only just started, to go along to Killah Priest. I will do another call to action towards the end of us playing this. Also, before I do play, I am asking Eli, who is the participant on the show itself that we're listening to give his little preamble. I know you've already given us one in the pre-show, Eli, but if you would beg my indulgence as we're now live to do the same thing again.
Wait, do what again?
Just give us a little bit of preamble. I'm on Killah Priest. This is when I went. This is why I went. Enjoy. Something like that.
Oh. Okay, yeah. Out there. Yeah, I went on Killah Priest podcast maybe a couple of times about 2 years ago, shortly after the Dave Weiss, Lord Jamar. I don't know if you guys remember that episode, Karen B, but that was pretty huge too. Actually, that I think his channel was around 15,000 subscribers at that time, and it just blew up. So I'm happy for them, and I was happy to be had on the show, invited to the show by my boy Vinny, and I was there to talk about Flat Earth because, in my opinion, when Dave was on there, he left a couple of he left the cowbell out. So I went there to put in the cowbell and represent FED, and I hope I did well for you guys out there.
Well, without further ado, this is what we're getting today.
So if you go to Google and you type in distance to horizon formula, everything that I just said will basically be right there. So you drop down people also ask. That? This is a random dude. None of these people are flat earthers that I'm gonna show you. I'm showing you these are all just things that you find that are supposed to be true. That you find, wait a minute, there's some inconsistencies here or some contradictions here.
Okay, which one should I click on?
So I mean, where you at? I can't see the screen share.
Distance to the horizon formula.
Yeah, when you go to Google, I'm just saying that.
Oh, okay.
For anybody at home, you can take washington.edu. Like we like all of the EDUs. We're not afraid of that. Actually, we want to look into that.
I always get people with the Earth curvature calculator.
And they're all over the place.
Yeah, and it's like for every 100 miles, there's supposed to be 6.666 thousand feet of curvature.
All right. You have an Earth calculator?
Yeah, Google.
Okay.
Yeah, we talked about this. Like,
see, all this got to come out, yo. This got to come. All right.
That's why I'm doing it.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so here, notice, I mean, there's obviously, a few people on the panel, and again, there's going to be people that throw things out there that may be red herrings, unbeknownst to them. And notice that I keep going back to the original point, because that point is important. It's not like I'm just gonna say, "Ooh, the Earth is flat because black swan," and then move on. Or "Ooh, celestial navigation," say something vague about it and move on. I'm like, no, 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 no. It's exciting and all that. Here's what we're talking about, though.
Well, you're
We
taking your
didn't get
time at
that
this
from
point.
the other opponents
I
or
mean,
debaters out there.
I could criticize thus far. I'm not going to because I don't know where this is going, and so you're building tension. Let's just carry on.
Doing it. People have spoken about it, but I'm like, I need people to see what I'm talking about, because this is what we're talking about is the problem, and nobody knows that.
So the idea is, once people see the lies of something like this, then a lot of other lies become more suspect. A lot of other truths they tell us become more suspect.
You good, John? See, Sean, I've been cracking it. Good.
And then we realize, how much we actually are in a matrix, how the world is a stage. And then
so you see.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So anybody at home, you type in distance to horizon formula, you go down to where it says people also ask, how do you calculate the distance to the horizon? So in order to make a calculation, you have to have actual metrics, right? Like if you were gonna build, like if you were gonna put tiles down, you would first have to measure how much area you have, and then you would calculate how many tiles you need for that, right?
Yeah, carpentry.
Okay. So the reason that we can calculate this is because supposedly somebody's measured the dimensions somehow. So we can get into that. But so let me read this real quick. So for all practical purposes, we can estimate the distance to the horizon using 1.22459 times the square root of the observer's height. Or perhaps even more simply is just 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height, which gives the distance in miles when h is in feet. So that's the claim. That's why that guy in that video I just showed you said what he said, as if it was true fact, right? So this is a claim that we can test. Okay, the horizon is geometric. It's a geometric consequence of the size of the sphere we're on. Picture a basketball. So you have do I have a basketball? Picture anything spherical. You hold it in your hand. You understand that there's going to be that line, right? There's going to be that line. You can't see the rest of the ball because it's curving away from you. That's what they're saying the horizon is, but because we're so small, the horizon looks flat. But that's their claim. Right. So you see it, you see the limitation for what you can see. Well, you can do some math on that. You can figure that out. So that's what they're saying about the Earth. The Earth is this specific size, and we can use this formula. This formula will calculate where the horizon is. Just like if I come in.
Just as I was thinking, Eli, I'm nervous that he's taking too long to detail their claim to take it apart. I thought if he doesn't get to the taking it apart bit, someone's going to interrupt him. And just as I thought that, bottom left. Just saying.
If I come into town and my house is maybe 10, 15 blocks away, it's never going to not be 10 blocks away if it's 10 blocks away. Soon as I enter into my town, that line, my house is 10 blocks away always. That's its locality. So they've given locality to the horizon. Where is it? Based on how high you are above the sphere. That's what they're talking about. So now, if you...
Oh, Eli, that's wrong. Not how high you are above the sphere, is it?
Well, because, yeah, I know.
Go on, enlighten me.
It was a little early. It's because it's flat. You can't. There's no sphere that you can't get an elevation above a sphere. So you can't get a height.
In fairness to Elijah, he's detailing their claim, not his.
Okay, I'll step off. I'll hold judgment.
You go to YouTube, you can type in CFI investigators. And this is a short process. After this, this is like the intro, and y'all can ask me anything after that.
Did you see D Marble last week? Did you see D Marble? Because he did the experiment.
Yeah,
Who? Who? What? D Marble?
D Marble. Remember I brought D Marble on the other week?
Oh yeah,
When me and Johnny-
yeah.
And D Marble was talking about, he did the experiment that Jeremiah is breaking down.
Right.
That's what he was talking about, where he had that laser above the.
Just for the audience's benefit, I'm giving Eli shtick, but this is talking to Eli from 2 years ago. So obviously today Eli is sharper than 2 years ago, Eli. So would I be, so would anyone be. So don't take my critiques as anything more than good fun and good humour for the audience's benefit. I know Eli knows that already. He knows this is him from 2 years ago also. Or did you? You did know that, didn't you, Eli?
The water. And
Yeah, I remember that. Yep.
Just kidding.
Yep. Exactly.
There's no curve.
Right.
See, that's a parabolic equation that if a flat earther brings it up, they'll deny it to your face. Even though if I tell you that the
Right.
curvature is 8 inches per mile squared, they say, well, that's actually wrong.
Right.
Oh, my bad. What parabolic equation would you like to use? Because the other ones actually take you further from, like, usually people, okay, number one, so I'm in a Discord service 24/7.
Yeah.
24/7 flat earth Discord, right? And we have people come in and ask us questions. It's a platform kind of like this where people could come in and ask questions and be a part of the conversation. And a lot of people, when they come in, they'll say, well, the 8 inches per mile squared is wrong. And then we'll say, okay, so use whatever equation you like. And the reason that we're talking about that is because we're talking about an observation and whether something should be at a specific distance or not. And they'll say, well, if we use my equation, it'll tell us that the distance to that thing actually was accurate and you flat earthers were wrong. Then they use that equation and it's further from the result that they wanted. Happens every day. So
a lot of them don't even have
when
an
you're
equation.
ready, go to the.
They're just like, no, it's just really big.
Exactly. No, we're not doing that. It's not really big. It's not. No, they gave it specific dimension, and you could use a little math
How
to
many
figure
people
it out.
thinking that's what she said?
Yeah. Okay. So you want me to type something in here?
Yes. CFI investigators.
CFI.
So what these people do.
Okay.
I'll wait for you to get it up.
Okay. CFI.
Keep going. Go scroll. Keep scrolling. Yep, right there.
That's what she said, Elijah.
Right, no, a little further up with the guy with the lake behind him.
Psychic powers.
So
the paranormal.
skip to 4 minutes and 30 seconds.
All right.
Now pause it.
We said was going to happen.
Oh, yeah. Mark Sargent.
This is National Geographic.
Okay.
Now, they're going to be ridiculing. Well, maybe there's a little ridicule on both sides, but here's the thing. CFI investigators partnered with National Geographic. You would
Yeah, I hope he doesn't play too much of the footage, because even though it's me playing Killer Priest, playing them, they'll still strike me. Bastards.
expect National Geographic to have what? Editors, right? They would have a process to where everything in this video is the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted, right? Like, so when I show you what I show you, there's gonna be no mistake that either there was some manipulation or they were ignorant.
Manipulation? Isn't this the boat with the stripes on? This is a black swan, right?
I should have used was incompetence or they just lying.
No. What I mean by that is, am I mistaken? Is this video that is about to be played the one about the helicopters where they put an edit in and then there's a set of birds that repeats? Or is this the National Geographic Black Swan? I don't know from the freeze frame what video this is. I just said National Geographic. It is the Black Swan one.
Same video, but Black Swan, yeah.
And is that what you're using it for, yeah?
Yes.
Cool. We're all on the same page. It's 2 years ago, man. I can't remember. Shout out from 24/7 Flat Earth Discord. Woohoo! Our boy Eli showing how to show up! Exclamation mark, exclamation mark. Says Theo Megawerty. Please support Flat Earth by bringing the good arguments to the front line. Show up so we can glow up. Thank you very much. Excellent super chat, Theo Megawerty. He's been on the panel earlier. He was just trying to figure out ways of getting me to be easier to communicate with. Thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate the support.
I would say that they're ignorant. I'll give them that grace. So let's get into it.
Happened, and with the boat thing, it's the same thing's going to happen. It's just going to be a shorter version of it.
I can't play this. Even though he's playing it and I'm playing him, I've learned from experience. Where's my dib dab? I'm fast forwarding this. Sorry, Eli.
No, yeah, that's fine. Everyone else has seen it, so I can just describe it. Basically, what happened.
It's on screen. I've got the bit that we need, right? So this is it. This you can see it because it's on screen. Black Swan. The horizon's behind the boat, but they're claiming that the obstruction to the stripe at the bottom of the flag on the back of the boat is Earth curve. But the horizon's behind the boat. So if they're saying, trust our measurements, where we expect physical geometric sphere edge horizon to obscure the flag is as per the maths at 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. And here it is obstructing the flag. No, the horizon's behind the boat. So it definitely is an Earth curve, Black Swan. Anyway, I'm going to fast forward through the bit with the actual video playing just because I don't want to get struck. I think he's paused it there. Perfect.
And as a matter of fact, there's no that's a local horizon because that's actually the beach that you're looking at or the shore.
Sure, an Earth
That
curve.
might be worse for them.
Okay, let's just get back into the video. How much longer have you got in your little section here, Eli? Do you know? Can you remember?
I'm not sure. That might be. I mean, this is really the more pertinent point.
I was going to say
know
this
I
is
said something about celestial navigation. I might have shared 10 slides somewhere, but
sure. But this the bulk of what you're doing is this now, isn't it? And presumably you're about to hit your crescendo now, right? Once he finishes this, yeah.
Refraction, atmospheric lensing.
You can pause it.
Seen this so many times.
That's you telling him, not you now telling me.
Morning, guys.
You know what I'm gonna ask.
What are you going to axe, Neil?
What are you going to axe, Priest?
The solution to it all, because you said you had the answers to it all. Is this what are you looking? What are you talking about, AD? You got like that's the solution. That's the solution.
No, let's let him talk. Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Well, the solution is you just accept what is, brother. Once we accept what is, then we can stop letting people tell us falsehoods and fallacy, and then maybe life will be a little better. Maybe.
Yeah, but when you started, when you started before the show started, you dropped some crazy. You was going in.
Look at what you're looking at.
Okay.
So the first thing I showed you was that the horizon has locality. The second thing I showed you is how they've derived that. Now, the third thing I just showed you, and he clarifies, he says the horizon is going to be what? A very particular number, 1.22 miles. Why? Because he's using the formula to inform him that that's where the horizon will be.
Okay, so the boat's a mile away from their position. So therefore, 1.22 is where at 1.22 times the square root of the observer's height in feet physical geometric sphere edge obstruction called Earth curve resides. If they're saying, well, that's going to reside at 1.2 miles, then you can assume that they're basing it on their observer height at the beach because they're at basically sea level and they're just taking it at the height of their tripods, right? They've got 1 foot observers, correct? They're on tripods?
Yep.
Where's the horizon?
All right, go ahead.
No, I was saying exactly.
In this photo, though.
Oh, this is the solution to everything. Oh, all right. I thought you were going to tell us.
No, mate, he's asking. Not telling. You got to keep up.
Yeah, I'm showing you.
Oh, okay.
Why I gotta tell you?
It doesn't realise that the question you've asked isn't rhetorical. So the question you've just asked him is, where's the horizon? He's right. Yeah. Oh, right, you're asking me. Sorry, what was the question again? That's what he's doing now, isn't he?
Yeah. And that's why I go through this like really rudimentary way of like at every point I want to establish that the claim is the horizon is geometric. Because I know that in the end I've had these conversations with people before and sometimes it takes a minute to click.
You see it right there?
Oh, okay. All right. So okay.
So this proves
because you dropped it.
Basically, what you're looking at, is the guy basically just said that the horizon is 1.22 miles. Now that boat is either, because of the editing, I want to be fair to them, and flat earthers are always fair. It's either 2 miles or 3 miles. Bottom line is, regardless, that geometric locality is gone. So that horizon right there, whatever it is, isn't tied to the globe claim or the geometry. That's a problem. Not only that, we have observations, something called the black swan, where the horizon is at least 10 times further. We say 10 times further because we have these oil rigs off the coast of California, and they're stationary. Basically, the horizon is behind them, and the furthest one is about 9-point-something miles, and the horizon is well beyond that. So just to be fair, we say, okay, it's 10 miles. That's orders of magnitude away from the calculation. How is that?
Ergo, no curvature.
Well said, AD.
Ergo, government authorities have lied to you. Ergo, NASA is full of lies.
You've kind of allowed him to make the summary, which is almost right. Not no curvature. No, the horizon's not Earth curve. Therefore, Earth's not a sphere, right? So it's very specific because you're asking them, where's the horizon, right? Because it's no longer where the narrator is suggesting is causing the obstruction to the flag. Now, obviously, Eli's not saying that explicitly because I've spun through the video, so he doesn't need to because it's just been made explicit in the video I've spun through. But given that I'm going to have to make it seem as though Eli said something he hasn't because he doesn't need to, the video's serving that purpose. But they're saying, look, Earth curve's blocking this flag, right? At the distance we expect in the formulation, which they may not have said, which is why Eli did confirm that. But he's asking, where is the horizon? Now, they're all kind of looking at it, and they haven't given an answer. And then the summaries come from someone else, not Eli, which is, so therefore no Earth curve. No. Therefore, the horizon isn't Earth curve, because their horizon is suggested to be the thing blocking the boat, and that's Earth curve. But the horizon in the image isn't the thing blocking the boat. Yeah? That's something else because the horizon's behind it. Okay, anyway, you can't help that. They've nicked your summary, Eli, it would seem. Who was it that did that? I can't see, they're too small, so I can't see his lips moving.
Oh, that's AD. That's he's the producer of the show.
He's the guy who wants you on
got
there.
everybody in talking about flat Earth, basically.
So he is kind of following. Well, that's good then, because it shows he is kind of paying attention, and there's a gap in the show that he needs to fill, and at least he's paying half attention. But he hasn't. You wouldn't expect the producer of someone else's show to get your point right, and he's kind of half there. No Earth curve. You're like, not quite. The horizon's not Earth curve, and it's got to be. So therefore, Earth's not a sphere.
Billions and billions of dollars. In 1971, Richard Nixon declared war on cancer with $100 million.
Okay, he's into a bit of a rant here now. Okay, fine. Right, we're making back to a bit more Killah Priest, but I'm going to do a call to action. If you haven't done so already, go and subscribe to Killah Priest Podcast and let them know with a polite comment, a like, a share, a subscribe, all that good stuff that Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. So just pop him a little comment. I've put a link to the Killah Priest podcast that we were watching from a couple of years ago with Eli on it. And just give them a nice comment, subscribe, build them up in the YouTube algorithm, do all the things that we definitely don't get here with a nice comment. But most importantly, just let them know that I sent you along. So there you go. There's a good 100 people watching this show. So there's enough of you to toddle along to Killah Priest. Share the love. Give him a comment and subscribe if you like that sort of thing. I am already subscribed to Killah Priest. Good stuff. Okie dokie. Good job, Eli. I think today you'd have probably followed a different methodology, but that is always going to be true. So all the way through, I was itching to critique you based on today's standards, and I hope I did a good job of refraining from doing so.
No, you did. I felt the same. I was like, oh, gish galloping, all of these disjointed sentences, QEs haunting me.
No, I
man,
still think you did a good job.
bro.
You did a good job. You got the basic principle of Earth curve geometry and it being debunked with the Black Swan to Killah Priest, and they were enthusiastic to hear it, which is all you can ask for, really.
Did
Yeah, I
you
would
hit him
have
with a nice welcome to flat Earth? Should have hit
Yeah,
him
that's
with
the
that.
only way to see. Yeah, my conclusion needed some cleaning up.
Well,
if it did.
the thing is,
Doesn't
it's
matter. You
hard.
didn't
not a
yell
flat
at
Earth
anybody.
proof.
You didn't shout anybody down like we get accused of. You represented flat Earth debate, and you did a good job.
Exactly. You did a good job. And 2 years ago, we weren't welcoming necessarily people to flat Earth. It wasn't a common thing as it is now, necessarily. It may have been just
What do you
starting.
mean? We were doing that 4 years ago.
Oh, is it really that long? Man,
So-
that makes me feel old.
right after
Chocolate,
the Black
thanks so much. That makes me feel old.
Right after the Black Swan. Welcome to Flat Earth was initiated right after the Black Swan. 2020.
You're right.
But they're not the
Snacks in
same
the back,
argument.
hats to the left, or something like that.
Yeah, but we didn't have the measurements
Yes,
then. That's
sir.
what Nathan is saying.
Well, I am and I'm not. I'm saying that Welcome to Flat Earth isn't something that would come alongside the Black Swan. It coincidentally, timeline-wise, has, or did, past tense, but it isn't connected. You don't debunk Earth's sphericity and then immediately welcome someone to Flat Earth. You're just debunking that the horizon isn't where they say it is in their maths, based on geometry of a physical sphere edge. Well, when you debunk it, it means the horizon's not Earth curve, and therefore Earth's not a sphere. That's the conclusion, but not welcome to Flat Earth. So I'm just knocking chocolate at you, Eli, because Eli's like, we could have done with a welcome to Flat Earth. Well, for what? He's going through the Black Swan. It's a globe debunking.
Right. But the thing is, it's hard to detail someone else's claim and then go on and debunk it. The position that Earth's measured flat is an easy position to defend because it's true for everybody involved. It is the easiest position to take and start from there.
Yeah, if it was today that you went on there, I'm sure you'd be doing all the... You've heard me barking on at others for about 12 months straight that we should be on the front foot, right? We should be telling people how Earth's measured flat as our opener. Well, 2 years ago, I wasn't saying that. 2 years ago, we were all focused on taking apart the wider worldview of having an Earth curve edge, because that's their primary belief and claim. So, good job for 2 years ago, but it wouldn't be the same review if QE, I keep calling you QE, Eli. If Eli was doing this today, I'm sure he'd be opening by going, yeah, it's measured flat, it's no big deal. It's not that
That's what we're going to do when we get on there, right?
Yeah, I would have a new vigor. My beard is longer. I have a bald head now. I'm feeling the power Nathan's been feeling. And yeah, especially being on the show before and, knowing that they want to have me on. Oh, man. Like, because before it was like I was new. So I was kind of just being polite and feeling my way around. And they seemed to really soak up the information. So this time around, I know that I will go in there with supreme confidence because telling them the Earth is flat is much easier than doing the Black Swan. I don't know why, it just is.
Say, with the reason Sean just gave, first you've got to set the stage with their position, which is awfully dangerous. That's why I was itching to critique you. And it's unfair because that's what we were doing. And that's harder. As you just put so eloquently, it's getting easier because it's stopped being a debate. About a year and a half ago, we suddenly started to click, this isn't a debate. What are we doing? When you're in Killah Priest explaining how they claim Earth is a sphere with very specific detailed measurements and how they fail, you've got to set that stage. Well, you're on dangerous ground, detailing your opponent's position first. That's your opener. Hi, my name's Eli. I'm a flat earther. Let me tell you all about how the globe makes its globe claim. It's dangerous, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's why you can't see, and that's why I think doing it, the way that everyone's used to, like with Witsit, and he does what he does. He gets on the platforms that he does. Kudos to him. Um, but when you get on any one of the key points, you kind of want to slow the conversation down and kind of demand that let me just get this out right here. And anybody can do that. And I encourage Witsit to do that. Next time he goes on to a show, if he's talking about the Black Swan or if he's talking about elevation angles, he doesn't just, say it and allow them to move on, but actually, drill that point home first.
Well, they did it
Citations
to
and all.
Witsit. They did it to Witsit on that Sungenis and Tim Pool thing. But how many times was he allowed to state the globe claim and then didn't get to rebut it? How many times did that happen?
Well, it's because he didn't set it up. He didn't set it up like I
Correct.
set it up. There's no way they could have not given me the time after I asked them. He didn't do that.
I don't know. This is somewhere where I suddenly have to come to Witsit's defense because of what you've just said. If you're under the misapprehension that simply by saying to them, look, guys, I want the air to be able to put this across, and they've gone, yeah, no worries. No, there was just as much tension and that guy jumping in, producer or otherwise, and the other guy who interrupted, because there's tension.
Pause.
Say again?
Pause. Chocolate, correct me if I'm wrong. One of the qualities that I have is making a room quiet. I've done that in Jim Panda's server. The same thing I did on Killah Priest podcast, I've done that everywhere I've went. I've done that in Earth Awakenings.
Yep.
So in my view, no one has an excuse. I've done it in the most hostile situations. Am I right, Chocolate?
No, fair enough. You're saying just as a character trait, you can calm a situation down. I'll take that as read.
Yeah,
fair enough.
He's definitely good for that. Yep.
No, fair enough.
But not everybody has that charisma or potential. So, as a general rule, what you just did was dangerous.
Yeah, it was.
To someone that doesn't have that charisma.
Not only dangerous, the same as what Witsit did. I didn't want to have to do this. This is where I was like, I've got to criticise this because otherwise we'll be deemed hypocrites. I can see it in the comments now. How is that any different to Witsit when he's prefacing something he wants to debunk in the globe claim and then getting rumpus when it comes to the actual debunking time? Well, according to Eli, he didn't set the stage and get everyone nice and calm before he did it. Well, you've just explained away that by saying that's a specific character trait of yours and an ability that you possess to do that. Now, maybe Witsit possesses that ability, but if you take a universal rule that most people, if they try and play that dangerous game, it doesn't matter if it's you or Witsit, won't get to the end victorious. Whereas if you start with your victory, Earth being measured flat, then you're far more likely to make that impact immediately, rather than fail to make it after reasserting the globe claim dangerously. You got away with it. Most people wouldn't, including Witsit, who didn't.
So my question would be to the audience who would defend him in that sense. My question would be, why do it that way then?
That's
You
what
did
I
it.
asked him.
You did it that way, but because you know that you've got the gab to get away with it.
Exactly, but my question is, you ain't me, son. Why are you doing it that way?
Because that's how we've been trained to do it. That's the arguments and how they should be laid out. We've been trained to offer up the globe's claim to then refute the globe's claim as flat earthers. Flat earthers think this about the globe, say somebody who's describing a flat earther. That's how we've been trained to do it.
Excuse me, but hold on. Let me just say something real quick. Hold on. Witsit is never going to do that. When I asked him, he said, I disagree. Proving the Earth doesn't spin is just as important as just laying it down that Earth is measured flat and drop an anchor right there.
What?
what you're going to
Proving
get.
non-existence is more important than proving existence.
That's what he said.
No, no, no.
Listen to the
I
video.
have a better. I have, in my opinion, I have a better argument. And it's Brian's argument. He specifically talks about a flight. I'm sorry, I can't remember the 2 points, but he went north to west. Now they claim that the Earth is rotating east to west. There's no deviation. There's nothing. There's just you going from point A to point B. I know I was really vague about that, but that is something that is practically true. You don't have to talk about the stars and this, that, and the third. It's like, listen, I'm flying over the earth. They say it does this. No, it doesn't. As a matter of fact, the example of Tyson saying that while the ball was in the air, headed toward the field goal turned because it was connected to the earth, and so that's why they made the winning goal. So they're saying that the plane is in the what? No, I don't want to get
We know what you're saying. You think that's easier?
I'm
Yeah, but
charging you with
what's-
hearsay now.
Yeah, but what's your point?
I'm
You're
charging you with
detailing.
hearsay.
Hold on, John. You're detailing an anti-globe argument, but for what purpose? I don't know where you're going with this, Eli.
I'm basically even without talking about a globe. It's almost like talking about pitch data. It's like, what are you talking about? When I fly north to south, I'm just going from one point to another point. There's no rotation involved.
Exactly. You're debunking spin. Why?
Well, I'm saying it's better than talking about the sky and segueing into ether.
Sure, but
yeah.
nobody. Hold on. Hold on.
I'm just saying, if
Hold
you're
on.
gonna do it,
We'll
it's
get to you,
better,
John. I
that's all.
promise. Hold on. What I don't know. Other than me contrasting you with Witsit in terms of you playing the dangerous game of offering globe claims to go forth and debunk them after you've prefaced your opponent's position on their behalf as your opener. Now, when I say Witsit also did that and we've been highly critical, we're not being so critical of you because you got away with it. But ultimately, the overarching point here is if it was today, we'd say, why preface a globe claimant's suggestion of proof to go forth and debunk it as a flat earther when we can just start on the front foot and say Earth's flat?
Right, you're right.
Right. The first thing that needs to change about the conversation is the default position, because it is, in people's mind, default a globe.
Exactly.
You need to correct that immediately.
Exactly.
Exactly. So not
Nathan,
go on, Brian.
Sorry, Brian.
Nathan,
Yeah.
that's what that flight does. It shows that
Brian.
the claim they're making. Hey, Eli. It shows the claim. Is that Eli? Who said hello to me? Who started that hello, Brian?
Yeah, that was
Sorry.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
sorry.
think before that too.
Could have been chocolate.
The other Eli.
The other Eli. Hey, chocolate. Hey, everyone. Look, no. What that flight does is it takes their claims and that they claim concerning the Earth and rotation, and it shows just, well, this is a flight that goes from London to Accra. It flies 3,000 miles in 6.5 hours, right? To do what Neil deGrasse Tyson himself would have to claim, it would have to fly 6,000 miles, right, in 6.5 hours, and fly at not fly north to south, but fly from London off out. It would be southeast towards basically South Asia.
Yeah, we got all that. And I don't disagree, but let me just try it one more time. That you've just gone through, if you're in the scenario of Killah Priest or something similar, is your opponent's position in terms of what it would do if Earth was a sphere and how it does not do that. So, as a flat earther, I'm trying to, and have been for a year, I can't believe I'm having this conversation with my own panel, but I am, been saying, why do that? I'm not going to...
Because you have to debunk them.
If for the sake of argument, there's people out there that describe themselves in this arena, flat earth or globe earth, but talk about something completely redundant to the subject, like ghosts, yeah? And they waffle on about it incessantly, and then, for whatever reason, in a non sequitur, link that to globe earth. I don't have to start as a flat earther by saying, okay, so let's set the scene. there's all these ghosts doing XYZ, and it's suggested that the XYZ performance of the ghosts will perform the function of globe proof. So I'm going to tell you how XYZ with ghosts doesn't perform the function our opponents say it does to prove a globe. I shouldn't be doing that as a flat earther. As a flat earther, I should be saying Earth's flat. And that's basically it. And when somebody comes to me, this is where, if you want to be the debater that we would suggest a good one would be, you need what Brian's just said, which is why it didn't come with an interruption. You still need that information when your opponent does actually preface these claims positively. From of their own volition, i.e. comes out of their mouth, not yours as a flat earther. Now, I get for us to do this, Brian's got to make these claims so that the audience understands what the claim is when he takes it apart within logic and reason. But that's not to say that as an audience, you take the bit where Brian details our opponent's claim and take that forward as though it's the argument. Yeah, you need to understand how to take it apart, but you need your opponent to actually be making that claim for it to be useful in a very, very, very specific scenario. Yeah? Don't just go, oh, well, now I've understood and comprehended how that argument Brian explained an opponent could make works. So I'll make it for him and take it apart. You're like, no. Know how that argument works so that when it comes up, you can take it apart. But your job as a flat earther isn't to bring up these claims from the globe side that fail. That's not your job. Your job is to tell people Earth's flat.
I'm really glad you said that, because actually that's kind of been, I think I've heard you say that this whole time before you said that we need to start on flat earth being the front foot, because something QE always says is don't put words in their mouth. And so the difference between, I guess, me and a lot of the guys in 24/7, and maybe the other half of guys in the 24/7, is when a Glober comes up, like they'll kind of either force them to make a claim or insinuate that they've made a claim. They'll say, "Well, your globe is this and this," and they'll do exactly what you said. Take whatever claim about the globe and start debunking that. And I'm like, they didn't say anything about that. Let them speak. Why don't you just speak about the evidence that the earth is flat? And if they ask you something, then answer it. And that's all you're saying. Like,
Yeah.
you don't have to do that initially, though.
Yeah,
It's because I haven't said it directly to you guys. I've said it to other servers, not to you, because you're my panel, and there's this if I could say the word, telepathy assumption, like you know what I know because you're the panel. Well, no. Anyway, go ahead, Brian.
No, I agree with you, Nathan. Don't just go rushing at him with this thing about the debunked rotation when they haven't even said anything. Even if I'm going to even bring that up in a debate, like as in a one-on-one debate, I'll go through the globe claim first without mentioning anything about how I'm going to debunk it. And in a one-on-one debate, the person is, obviously, we're in a one-on-one debate with a moderator. So that's the place for it. In somewhere like Discord, you have to leave someone bring it up. You have to, because in that situation, you have a whole group of people, and you won't have a moderator there being you and the other person. It's very likely the other person might try and change things halfway through or want to go in a different direction with it. And you trying to bring it up, they can bring up anything. Whereas in a one-on-one debate, I know exactly how I lead that in, and they wouldn't know what I'm going to. All they know is I'm steel manning the globe claim. That's all they would know, and I'd be going through it and I'd be getting them to agree to their own claim, and show them how that is their own claim. And once they do that, then I would debunk it in a debate. But I wouldn't go around bringing it up. I just leave them in a situation like Eli's talking about.
Yes, hold on, everyone else. Brian's in here. He's saying you wouldn't go around bringing it up. Yeah, we've got example literally 5 minutes ago of Brian detailing it. But there's reason for that, which I'll explain in a minute. But yes, absolutely, Brian. You don't want to be making their claims for them, essentially. Go ahead, whoever it was that was trying to get a word in there. Chocolate, go ahead.
Oh, I think it was John.
I was going to say, Yeah, I'll be quick. I was just gonna say, but sometimes, unfortunately, being in the particular arena that we're in, sometimes I think that's a necessary evil because a lot of times we're dealing with people whose claims we know better than they do. You know, it might not be their specific claim, that specific person, but there's already an established paradigm that we have to go against, right? And whether they know it or not, that's the paradigm that they're defending.
But they're the
my
ones that
child-
have to
that's-
defend
my
it.
child-
That's
wait,
why I
wait,
said.
I will go.
John,
We'll go with
wait.
Eli after John. Go ahead, John. Yeah, no, I disagree, Chocolate, but go ahead, John.
Right. That's why I said. That's why I said the default position in people's minds is that it's a globe because of the religion that's been, they've been born into. You have to change that default position first, and then everything else will flow from that. Their questions will flow from that. I promise you.
Yeah,
But you
my
have
default
to attack
position's
the
changed.
default position.
Exactly. My
That's a
default
good-
position's changed, and therefore you need to instill that in others with a sense of calm and understanding that you now possess because you understand Earth's flat as the default position. If you don't appreciate that and think incorrectly that you need to start with the default position of the globe and explain how their globe gets claimed so that you can take it apart, and you don't want them to be giving you the wrong version of it or anything, then you're on the wrong foot. The default position is flat for you and everyone always, but especially you, because we've all been brainwashed to think the default position's globe. Go ahead, Eli.
So I had this sentiment from the beginning. I just didn't have the flat Earth argument, or the flat, or the just the saying the measurement that the Earth is flat, right?
Yeah.
And now again, I'm gonna lean on Chocolate because Chocolate has been in the Discord server. I was and I'm not saying I'm not trying to differentiate me from everybody because I think I'm awesome. What I'm saying is
bullshit.
Everyone on this panel has a different style, and everyone in 24/7 has a different style. My unique style in 24/7, when everyone is, fighting, throwing chairs and stuff, I go, hold on, okay, can I speak to this person? I get everyone's agreement, and I say, okay, sir, let me ask you a question. Why are you here? What would you like me to do for you? When they start asking me questions about things I don't want to talk about, which is literally everything that doesn't have to do with my claim, I say, well, I can't answer that. I'm not really here for that. This room is here for one purpose, and I'm here to tell you why I'm here. Would you be interested in that? Obviously, reasonably, after you've done that maybe twice, a person has to go, okay, well, yeah, I did come into your room. And so if I'm saying that I want to hear what you guys are talking about, then yes, obviously, I want to know why you're here. Boom. Except I didn't have Flat Earth, I had the Black Swan. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
nobody's attacking you from 2 years ago. You're getting a bit defensive like we're doing that because it's obviously
no, not the
post the
defensive
video.
thing. The more important point is the sentiment was always I'm not going to talk. I'm not going to let you drag me down all of these avenues. I'm going to get you to ask me why I'm here. And then I'm going to give you my singular argument.
Sure. But when you say now that you feel more confident or whatever, because since whenever we start talking about Earth on the front foot with measurements that are very specific that you can start with as an opener and be conclusive with as an opener, that gives you the confidence to potentially move forward if you were to do it tomorrow on the front foot, right? With all that being said, there's a reason, and I'll come back to what I said earlier about Brian. Brian's just given us a full explanation about how the globe would claim it, how Neil deGrasse Tyson would claim the drift occurs north to south, south to north. He's giving the full explanation from their side, steel manning it as he puts it, and then taking it apart for how it fails. Now, there's a danger that you go, right, so that's how it's done then. No. As an educator, Brian needs you, the audience, to hear all of the information contextually laid down correctly within their, that's Globe Earth, rhetoric, concisely, accurately, to then take it apart. But there's a danger, and I'm repeating myself, that when you hear it formatted in that way, there's an assumption that, oh, so when I debate this subject, I, being a flat earther, I in the debate forum need to open as Brian opened, explaining their position at length. No, you don't do that. Brian's doing it so that you can understand the argument should it come up. Should you be in a position to react to someone making these claims? Now, given that we've made thousands of shows, we'd hope that either through example from our opponents coming in and going, I claim Earth turns with this example, and us taking it apart, but you can't always have an opponent making a very specific claim that you want to explain your understanding of. You need to explain it. But the audience might misconstrue that to mean, oh, I need to detail a globehead's claim for them. No, you don't. You're a flat earther now. So that leaves you with two roads. Now we're getting some clarity after 12 months. Road number one. You come to Flat Earth Debate, you listen for a few shows, and you realise Earth is measured flat. Then you get on with your day. What do I mean by road one? It means that you understand and appreciate with a decent amount of logic and some of the understanding of how a globe doesn't work, because that'll have filtered through in a few shows, that Earth's measured flat. And then it's no big deal to you. Nothing's going to change. We were always measuring it flat anyway, and we always will. Nothing in terms of the function and form of Earth has changed. You just know now that which you formerly believed in terms of sphericity. So you can get on with your day. That's it for you. But if you mistakenly think you can enter into debate with people, potentially about, let's say, I don't know, Earth rotation, because you listened to this show and heard Brian concisely and clearly go through the argument. No, he didn't. He gave you an education on the globehead's position and then showed you how to take it apart should it come up as an argument. But the rendition that Brian gave you wasn't the full meat and bones that you need if you're going to go into debate. Now, if you'd been here for 3 years listening to us, you'd understand that, hopefully. You'd understand that, no, this is something that you might have to deal with when a fundie puts this to you. It's not for you to put it for them on their behalf, though. And half of what people who think that they're good flat earth debaters or think they're good flat earth communicators do is go on shows, detail some bleeding globe argument that they've learned, explain the globe's position, explain how they know how to undo it, half the time don't do a wonderful job of it, and then leave the guy who's had the information put to him and indeed their audience scratching their head going, so it doesn't function as a globe because of that 5-minute explanation that you just went through that I don't fully understand. Okay, and I've got to now come to the conclusion that Earth's flat because of that. It's horrendous. And, or, depending on who you are, wonderful. If you're a globe believer, this would be exactly what you'd want the flat earthers to be doing. Going to great lengths to explain how the globe works so they can explain how it doesn't work. So you're hearing quite a lot about a globe then from this flat earther. How wonderful. Now I want to change all that to get to my conclusion, having summarised the whole show, in that if you're a flat earth debater or wannabe, you need to learn all of these arguments. Not that little soundbite that Brian just gave so you can regurgitate it and seem like you understand how a globe fails to rotate. No. Understand what Brian said, keep it in your arsenal and keep it in the logic of your brain that understands how it fails so that when you hear it, you can rattle off how it fails and summarise it on behalf of the person that put it to you. Not steel man a position that hasn't come yet. But what you do as a flat earther is tell them it's flat. It should be that simple. The same thing that gets you to get on with your day on road 1. If road 2 is what you decide, I'm going to be a debater, then you need to learn every single debate inside out and back to front to the point where, as an educator like Brian, you could potentially explain to an audience how not only the opponent's position works, but how it falls apart. But you're not expected to be doing that if you're entering into debate or going onto podcasts to explain how a flat earther's to be expected to be believed, or how, moreover, Earth is actually flat. If that's what you're there to do, just do that. Tell them it's flat. Oh, right, you really? So you're a flat earther? Yes. Why? Because Earth's flat. What makes you think that? I don't think it. That's how it's measured. All right, but I was under the impression we measured Earth curve. Oh, really? Now you need to know things like the Black Swan, don't you? Not, hi, you're a flat earther? Yes, I am. Why? Well, because if the Earth was a sphere radius 3959, then every distance to the horizon... Whoa, we seem to be talking about quite a lot of globe stuff as your opener here. I'm going to be left with the impression about how globe does maybe work or doesn't, according to you, if I could follow along with this long diatribe about how globe Earth should work, but doesn't. Which sounds
quick
better.
Aside, a quick aside right there. 50% of the time, the people that are, they're people that are, okay, I can't say that, but there are a lot of times that genuine people come in, and I didn't realize it back then, but they would ask us all the time, okay, I understand that you guys debunk the globe and stuff, but why is it flat?
Yeah,
and we didn't really have an answer.
Exactly. It should be our opener. If we're flat earthers, it should be the first thing out of our mouth, right?
I have to agree with some of what you're saying, Nathan, and disagree with some of what you're saying. I agree with lead out with the measurements of the Earth being a flat plane, right? I agree with that. Surveying, astronomy, celestial navigation, air flight, all these things, right? Lead out with that. Sorry? I missed that.
Fighting fires.
Fighting fires, if you want, yeah, fighting fires. I forgot about that one. Lead out with all those kind of things, like as opposed to talking about how much blockage there should be or any of this kind of stuff, right? But when it comes to something like rotation, I don't view that the same. See, what you're talking about, Nathan, it's a bit idealized. Because if you're in a debate, you have to debate. And the way I would go about it is the implications of the official claims. Now, in some ways, or in truth and honesty, they talk about there would be on a globe X amount of blockage here if we were on a globe, but there isn't. So in that situation, I'd be using the implication argument.
I hate it.
But
carry on.
Right, right. I know you hate that, but I'm saying that that's what that is. It's an implication argument. I like implication arguments, but I don't really use that one unless I don't normally use anything like that. But I like the measurements. But when it comes to rotation, you're either going to be educating the person about Coriolis, or you're just going to be taking what they're claiming, and you must know about globiolis, what they think is Coriolis.
No,
you
totally
have to
disagree.
know about these aspects.
Yes, you do. If you're going to debate, I'm not going to disagree because you're going to always win this one, right? If you're going to enter into a discussion where someone brings it up or you bring it up, you've got to know your stuff. You've got to know what Coriolis is. You've got to know what globiolis is. You've got to know the mix between the two reference frames, the full shebango. However, I fundamentally disagree. What's on screen now? Let's say the object's the sun. Yeah? What are we talking about? We're talking about measuring the positional information of these lights in the sky with respect to a flat plane. That's where I'd want to start if we were talking about what's claimed to affirm rotation when detailing these objects with regards to Earth being a non-inertial turning reference frame by assumption. And you've got to know how globiolis would affect... No. How do we actually ascertain what useful aspects these lights offer? Well, we'll track them with respect to a plane is the only thing I can think of as a useful, productive flat earther to offer, not undoing globiolis. Now, that's not to decry that you, and I've given you a whole long diatribe of why you would know how to preface a globe earth argument on their behalf. It's just not for the audience to take that as the way to debate it. Well, in this instance, you have been exemplary in terms of educating us, me specifically, about what globiolis means. And we're not going to go through that now. There's not enough live stream left. But that's another example. If you wouldn't dream of starting an argument with a globehead about detailing how we've got a Coriolis effect and what it is, how they don't like it and it gets pulled apart, therefore they come up with globiolis and what that is, and how they both fail, you'd be there for 20 minutes. In your opener, you've not even mentioned a flat Earth yet.
No, I mean, I'm not saying... See, it depends on the scenario, right? If you're in a situation where you're in a debate, one-on-one debate, you must roll with what's going on. Do you know what I mean? You can't really manipulate it. What the person's going to bring up is what they're going to bring up, but there's no point in you bringing it up for them. Yeah. You talk about, if you're going to talk about that, and it should be something that proves the flat Earth. When they bring up their globe stuff, you debunk that, whether it be something to do with our core rotation, whatever.
Yes, now you're talking my language. So therefore, if you're in debate, this is what I've been trying to say all year, you need to know your stuff. You can't just have come to a few shows and learn a few debating points. Now, furthermore, when you say, oh, you can't bring stuff up, there's a reason that happens. It's because some flat earthers have only learned a handful of arguments. And because they might be in debate with a globe head, they need to try and seem to control the globe side of the discussion. So it can be their version of what they need to debunk because they've only learned one or two arguments. So if the globe opponent brings anything but those arguments up, they're screwed. Therefore, they bring up what the globe says so that they can keep in their control what they're debunking about the globe, the bits they've learned. So it's weak debaters that end up needing to do this. I'll put forth what the globe will say because then I can debunk it and keep it within my control. Whereas if I allow my opponent to randomly shove out some random globe claim, I might not know how to overcome it. Well, what are you doing there then? If you don't know your opponent's side, you shouldn't be there. And if you are, and you just happen to be tagged as a flat earther when you're doing a book discussion and it's random and nothing to do with you debating flat earth, you just tell them, like, then you've got your cursory understanding that you can lean back on. Yeah, I just know it's measured flat. Well, how? Well, elevation angles. But the globe says, yeah, I don't really debate this and that's not what I'm here for. I'm doing a book review. You know, if it's in a different subject arena, suddenly you're not expected to know every in and out of globe claims. But if you're in a debate arena about the globe, you're not expected to just know one or 2 points and be able to regurgitate them from the point of view of the globe head to take it apart. You need to quietly know all these arguments inside out and back to front just in case they come up, which is a tall order, right?
Yeah, it means you have to learn a lot of things.
Yeah.
You have to be able to respond to anything that's brought up. That means you need to know every part of, and so maybe I know I did. I can't speak for everyone else. Every time I came across any heap of nonsense argument from them, regardless of who was from, I'd look into what it is and I'd have a response if that is ever, even if it's something obscure, I'd have a response if that thing is ever brought up to me. But I'm certainly not bringing that up myself.
Until you know it inside. Well,
it shows fear.
Just up until the point where you are then the expert. Like earlier on the show, when Brian went through the north to south Coriolis deflection in the form of Globiolus and what Neil deGrasse Tyson details therein, he's doing it as an educator. Yeah? It's not that he's just heard something in a comment and he's like, oh, I'll look into that quickly. Oh, right, I'm trying to learn and comprehend how that... No, we're talking about someone 10 years into the subject who can summarise things beautifully. And I'll keep saying it. That's not the way you actually debate it, though. It's just another thing that you need to keep in your arsenal.
Well, that's something I could use, or one of us, anyone could use. Let's say Eli, if he's on the Killah Priest podcast, he could go through that because it's educational, right? What's good about that? Why I went for that particular thing the way I did wasn't to reference Globiolus. It was to take the argument about between Coriolis and Globiolus out of it, because the ballers kept on not understanding Coriolis, and flat earthers kept on trying to educate them in, and they end up in an argument for an hour about what Coriolis is, as opposed to, which was a red herring away. The ballers knew what they're at. They were using it as a red herring away from them having to show their earth rotation. So the flight north from London to Accra has nothing to do with Coriolis. Absolutely nothing. It's just an implications of what they're claiming. So there's no Coriolis involved. There's nobody looking up at anything, not deviating, if you know what I mean. Or deviating, appearing to deviate, I should say. Or the borders would say not deviating because of blah, blah, blah. No, it's a complete step. You basically completely step completely past Coriolis with this. But if they're going to bring up Coriolis, then I bring them straight to the stars. And anything that's not conducive with that exact example is not Coriolis. Sure. That's how I deal with that.
But there's a subtle change in direction over the last 12 months, which now is easier to summarise because we've been doing it a while. And when you transition from one thing to anything else, it's always going to be difficult because there's old ways of doing it that are still in place and changing. And now, 12 months down the line, you're like, okay, we're looking back on stuff. Killah Priest is a good example where you go, okay, we wouldn't do it like that now. Yeah, because we've transitioned and can now summarize what we're trying to detail to an audience in regards to that transition. It's no longer the case that we suggest people should undo how people believe the default position of a globe, because it isn't the default position. Now, the default position is your position as a flat earther, and you should assert that. If you are in a position being asked proactively to assert it, no Earth's measured flat. But that's all you need to do. On the other hand, if you're of the ilk that needs to go forth and debate, then it's not to say that you need to understand one little debating point and then regurgitate it. This is how the globe says we see Earth curve, and yet we don't see Earth curve because Black Swan. No. You just need to know that argument so that when someone does claim, no, we've got Earth curve, likewise, when somebody suggests, no, we've got pictures from space, you need to know how to react to that with the second law, not open up your foray into the discussion with, they say that space is a vacuum. No. That's not how this should go forth. I say Earth is flat. I say it because that's how it's measured, is your opener. And on top of that, knowing all of the positions that can come from your opponent, inside out, back to front, and to the point where you can better argue for a globe than they can. But being potentially able to argue better for a globe than they can doesn't mean that you should start by explaining a globe better than they can as your opener. That was pretty concise. It only took 12 months. Any more for around out and ask people to stay tuned for the after show. No? Well, with that, I'll say if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering streams, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show. Is Politics server different to 24/7 then? Are they separate entities? Are they linked in some way? Different but the same? What's the deal?
Yeah, we
Politics
branched out.
is,
It was
politics is
originally.
like a breakout.
hmm
Politics is
Hey,
a
can I say
breakout
something
from
on that part of what Killah Priest was on with Elijah? He goes something measurements of the floor, and then he goes, yeah, carpentry. And I'm like, no, jackass, flooring.
Can we get back quickly to the answer
That's
of
not for you. If I could have said that, because I'm a floor coverer, still falls under carpentry.
Elijah and Flatsy were like they were talking at the same time. You guys want to explain again what's going on with what Nathan asked? On one of you about 24/7 in politics.
hmm Yeah, so 24/7 politics is an extension of 24/7 in the sense that some of the leaders in 24/7 branched out into other Discord servers, one of them being politics, and got us a
so it's
room in this.
separate. So it's a completely separate server then.
Yes.
Ah, okay.
hmm
Is it Wednesday? How do you feel about us going to the original OG 24/7 tomorrow? Kind of asking righteous.
Oh, you just ask Elijah and see what they say.
I know,
If they're
but
good with
you
it,
know,
yeah.
I've got a certain degree of loyalty to
Yeah,
this
you're good.
server, and that's your server. So it'd be rude to not put it to you, given that you've offered Flat Earth Debate a home from home. So to say, hey, you know, how you get put a roof over our head and make dinner each day. Well, I'm just going to piss off somewhere else for a bit. So, yeah, screw you. Oh, by the way, make sure there's food on the table when I get back. Do you know what I mean? It's just rude.
Yeah, you're good with me. Just ask Elijah or somebody from 24/7, arrange it. Just make sure you guys come in announced, right? Not announced, to be polite. And yeah, if you guys want to schedule another day of the week or two, whatever, to go on 24/7, the original, you guys can do that.
Well, there's a certain amount of bad blood, which was pointed out to me by AI yesterday. because the only comment I made was like, I didn't necessarily step in because there's a seeming conflict of interest with 24/7 when that's being promoted. As much as a flat earther, I should just promote these things and do on my own show. When someone else is doing that, I'm not going to join the bandwagon because I want to promote my show and my platforms. And in this case, it's ancillary, but Flat Earth Debate Discord, I kind of see as mine. I can't say that it's not, but I do still view it in that way, right? My allegiance is there. Well, in this instance, I've got AI going, well, I need to open a communication line with Nathan. Can someone arrange that? I'm like, oh, okay, fair enough. Well, that's what the server's for. That's what not politics, that's what Discord is for, right? Now, obviously, out of politeness, it'd be nice for them to be made aware because I do run a show. But by the same token, there's no reason why these communication lines can't be made wider for the benefit of all, which is all AI said when he came in. I know you guys weren't here when he came in and had a little chat earlier this morning, but that's essentially what he said. I'm like, meh, why not? Easy, isn't it? Am I wrong?
Yeah. Discord number 1, Google Hangouts number 10, 20, or something like that. I got you.
I mean 10, 20. Oh, little jab between the ribs was that? Did I feel that? Was that a little sting I felt? I'm going to go and make a coffee.
No, but you've been AIs too, I see. There's Witzitized, there's Jedi Mind Tricked, and now there's AIs.
I'm just saying Discord is a great place to take advantage to reach a wider audience and reach more people. So, yeah, if you can get out there more on Discord and get more familiar with Discord, it will help your show, Nathan. But yeah, that's it. What are you saying, Neil?
I said there's a phrase called Witzitized. It's also Jedi Mind Tricked, and now there's AIs. A lot of people been AIs.
Okay. What about we get back to the 24/7 subject? I haven't been on 24/7 in a while. How are things? Like ever since 24/7 kind of split a little bit with the politics. How is that working? How are the dynamics between the two servers, 24/7 politics and 24/7 the original or 2.0?
Well, especially with the help and the loyalty of creation there, a lot of times he and AI or NDO or anyone who's available will spark conversation in the original 24/7, and a lot of people will go there. Um, and for a long time, typically though, most people would just be in the politics server under the 24/7 banner because everyone in the politics server wanted to know what the 24/7 room was about. So they needed flat earthers there 24/7 to uh, carry forth the information. Now, the places that the energy is moving to is X and Twitter and these other places. And that's where we kind of are now. So when we move into other spaces to look for genuine people, sometimes there's a lull period for the Discord. So it's wherever the audience is at. That's where we are. Right now, it seems to be that we're doing a little bit of spaces and on X. And we also want to hit up did I say Twitter before? Like, what's that? TikTok. There you go.
All right.
So politics and religion are little corners, like little rooms that we have on the overall server, and they're called 24/7 Flat Earth Discord. So it's still under the same name and auspice. And when uh, we do our X spaces on Twitter, X, whatever you call it, I usually go over there because I'm supporting Alpha Veritas. That's Mickey, and I'm always anytime I'm ever in his space, he makes either me or one of the 24/7 crew co-host. So he's got a solid panel. So the speakers that come up have to like raise their hand to speak if everything's functioning correctly. But that's where he's got two co-hosts from 24/7 helping him out, kind of moderate the room. So it's like the stage, in politics server. If you remember doing the stage where they would raise their hand to come up to speak, it's like that on Spaces, which is really cool. That format.
I'll tell you what, I'd like to run a game show called Name That Fallacy. And just have a panel of flat earthers.
That's a
Bring
good
bloggers
idea.
up to.
Can I just say happy birthday to Flatty?
Oh, happy birthday, Flatty. Shoot.
Well, thank you. Thank you, guys.
Happy birthday.
Do we want to sing happy birthday and make it a big deal or what?
No.
You're the one with the singing voice.
We need QB for that.
Not right now.
It's so funny to hear Brian sing in his
Do you have a
Irish.
string of dollars on your shirt?
My guy.
Hey, come on.
I'm rubbish.
Let's keep it respectable here, guys. Come on.
Yeah. So here's the other interesting thing about spaces, right? So Miggy, also known as Alpha Veritas. What does Alpha Veritas mean again?
First truth.
First truth. Love that. Miggy's been a friend of us for a very long time and one of the very good proponents of flat Earth. So now the thing about spaces is if someone with a large audience comes in, people who are following that person will see that they're online and they will go where they go. So if we happen to get a big person, like for example, Tim, right, with all of his followers on X, had he just stepped in to one of Miggy's spaces, all of his viewers would have followed. That's powerful. So you get to talk to new people in real time. Can you explain how that process has been, Flatsy, for the nights that you've been in and when it's got, busy?
Right. Yes.
Just before you do, Flatty, would everyone please wish Flatty a happy birthday? That was why I said it. Go on, Flatty.
Happy birthday.
How old are you, Flatty?
Thank you guys. It's been a lovely birthday. My husband was the first one to tell me happy birthday right at midnight, and as soon as Booger got up, since we've been on, he came in here and he's like, "Is Mama bigger? Is it her birthday?" I'm not bigger, but it's funny that he says that because we say it to him. Anyways, yeah, on X Spaces, I work. I'm sharper at night. Like I'm a night owl. So sometimes I'll stay up late, and it's I mean, it can be a good thing, it can be a bad thing, but honestly, I'm sharper and able to speak better. There's so many people out there on X Spaces that you can talk to that have had the subject introduced to them the way that Alpha has, or I have, or say Elijah, and they keep sticking around. So we are actually gathering quite a following over there.
What's going on? Who's doing that? Chocolate.
Oh, shit.
No swearing, please.
I'm not. Look at that.
Technically, it's not a swear word.
Anyway, I did, while I'm here, just say happy birthday, Flatsy.
Oh, happy birthday.
Why, thank you. How very kind of you.
I won't ask how old.
I was going to tell you tomorrow. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
What's this audio file that you've sent me, QE? You're a black liar, sir. MP3. Well, that's a fantastic.
That's not too racist.
Well, I don't know what it is. That's why I didn't necessarily play it just straight off the cuff without listening to it. Should we risk it for a biscuit?
Is it his own audio file, is it? Did he send you one he made himself or something?
I don't know. He's not told me anything. Looks like you were lied
No,
to.
that's a collage he has put together of witness. I made it something, yeah.
Oh, okay. That sounds harmless enough. Let's play it.
The Lion Double Speaking Sewer Rat, Mr. Ping Pong Golf Ball, 3 December 2024.
Oh, you indicted the guy with millions of views. Oh,
No, you. You are indicted because you are a liar. That was proven here now.
no, because
Yes. You told the host Lite does travel because you wanted to be conciliatory. Unfortunately, that makes you a liar, Witsit.
if you don't know how debate works, which is that
If I get really close to my mic, maybe I can accuse you of being aggressive too there, Witsit.
listen to this guy.
Listen to how he stutters for me, ladies and gentlemen. When he's over a barrel, he'll stutter.
I didn't stutter at all, actually.
I
So,
didn't stutter.
I'd
Yeah,
say
you did. You stuttered because you're screwed. You know we've caught you in a lie. The same lie you had to agree with the host on. Like travels, right? Like the host said.
It wasn't the host. You're just kind of retarded. It's okay.
Oh, so now I'm being called retarded. Is this why we'd want you on a representative basis for these big shows, right? To call me retarded? Maybe call me toxic. Maybe claim I interrupt you.
Barely
Is that you interrupting there, Witsit? It seemed I hadn't finished my sentence about your projection of the interruptions you keep doing. It seems like when I state something, I have to close my Discord line so that I can be heard and not accused of being
you're
aggressive.
such a fucking crazy person, bro.
So are you swearing at me now? I'm fucking crazy. So now I'm being accused of having mental illness problems through the top of me indicting you on your lies about Lite not travelling. Oh, unless you're agreeing with that host, right?
In debate, you temporarily concede
in debate, is that you not stuttering? In debate isn't a response to the Lite travelling that you agreed with that host on.
I didn't stutter.
Right, Lite travelling like you agreed with that host on, right?
This is the same thing you claim I lied about with you. That's
so now he's telling me about what I've done. I've put it to him 3 times, ladies and gentlemen. So he agreed with the host of that show, the one we wouldn't want him on because he's a liar, when he agreed with the host about Lite travelling. Maybe if you just chant through me that I'm a grifter. Yeah, maybe the audience won't hear me indicting you on the lie you've told. I'm calling you a liar for being on when you addressed the journey of the light. The one that you wouldn't have said for ages. You agreed to it on that show, Witsit. Call me a grifter
you lie
again.
to get money. You lie about me to get money.
Non-responsive. I've called him out on a lie, and he's chanting through me non-stop that I'm a grifter.
You are a grifter, yeah, because you have to lie about me so that people will click.
What, like the lie of Lite travelling that you agreed with that host on?
It's just an intents and purposes concession for the 5th time. Do you understand?
Oh, so a lie, an intents and purposes concession, aka lie.
Oh, does everyone agree that that's a lie?
Does that everyone agree that that's a stutter?
That wasn't a stutter.
That wasn't a stutter about the lie that you conceded with the host, then?
If you watch the show, you hear.
I did. I watched you lie to the host about the Lite travelling. Something you thought you could call me out on. Like, indict me for? It seems like something I got indicted for was something you lied about and agreed with that host on.
I literally say in the show, yeah, sure, for intents and purposes, you.
So you lied.
So you literally said, yeah, sure, for intents and purposes, huh? Let's take a listen.
So Aries failure, for those who don't know, I'm sure the audience may not be familiar with this, but it involves a telescope filled with water because light travels slower in water. Would you agree that light travels slower in water?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you have a water-filled telescope. The principle behind Aries failure, which, I mean, this experiment goes back, before Einstein, because light travels slower in water. Would you agree that light travels slower in water?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't, yeah, sure, for intents and purposes.
You're a black liar, sir.
It's the same guy that's told us that if people were to suggest that Lite travels, he'd indict them and tell them off, and hasn't said it for years. Witsit is a cold-blooded liar. Yeah, good clip, QE. I like the bits with me in the most.
I'm more suspicious of people who constantly have to say that they don't lie, that they don't lie, that they don't lie. Like they say it so much, then it's like maybe this person is saying this
Yep.
so that I don't, suspect them
Hey
of
guys,
lying.
just for the record. Hey, real quick for the record, that's how you actually back up when somebody asks you, "Hey, you just said somebody lied. Where'd they lie?" This is the kind of evidence you present. Okay, just for the record.
What, the lie? Yeah, that's the standard. If you say someone's lying, here's them lying. Yes, indeed.
Almost makes you want to cut his tongue out.
I don't know about that extreme, but metaphorically, maybe.
Yeah, metaphorically, because he just kept doing it. Yeah, so in this context here, we have what they claim to have said, what they actually said, and the fact that they doubled down on what they claimed and actually said multiple times. That's how you prove, if you're making a claim that someone's lying, that you have evidence that they're lying. Okay, that's how it's done, just so you guys know for the record.
And what happens when you present that to the person, when you call them out, put them on blast, show them that they're a liar? What happens? Oh, they call you a grifter to your face as you indict them on their lie. You get called a grifter to your face.
No, that's not it. You don't show it to that person. You show it to everyone else associated with that person, and it destroys them.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though, isn't it? This is somebody who's supposed to be on our side that we're told, just try and be nice to this person. So, to be nice, we go and put this to that person so they can correct their error in their ways, and that person's called me a grifter. Here you are with your lie, here's your lie, very obvious. What's that? I'm a grifter? I'm making money off talking about you, it's it? That sounds a bit like Jaron, like when he didn't understand science and I tried to point it out to him. Not went around pointing it out to everybody else, went to him personally, and then I get labelled a grifter by Jaron. So out of the goodness of my heart, I've gone to them and I get labelled a grifter by both of them.
Right, now keep in mind, friends, we're not in the business of destroying people. Okay, that's evil. You want to edify people, and sometimes that requires holding them to task. Okay, and that's fair. Your goal should be to elucidate to them their errors so that they can make corrections in their character, right? Shouldn't be, I'm out to destroy anyone. That should never be anyone's motivation.
Exactly. It's not my motivation. I have no desire to destroy. I say this about Dan. The fact that I've got to say it about someone who's on my own bloody side is just kind of crazy, but there we go. When it comes to Simon Dan, I'm like, I don't want to destroy Dan. In fact, quite the opposite. I wish him every success as a YouTuber, and people are like, what? This guy's the enemy. No, he's not. He's just a guy making YouTube videos. Oh, yeah, he happens to be making YouTube videos on the subject that we cover. He's our opponent. Yeah, that doesn't mean I want anything bad to happen. Why am I getting rumpus to all crap by refracted curvature in the middle of point? Second time it's happened. Go ahead, John.
Sorry, I didn't mean to hit the button. My bad.
I don't wish any ill will on anybody. Right? Our opponents, not at all. Like, I forget about them the moment they've come by us if they interact with us personally. By the time the show's ended, I've forgotten about them altogether. I couldn't care less. So it's not like them, where they sit around plotting ways of destroying us or having our kids taken away. That's how much they concern themselves with us. Me, I couldn't give a toss. I don't know who Dan is. I don't even know his name. Don't care. They care. They want us to be destroyed because we destroy their sleep pattern. We keep them up at night with worry and fear and concern. Oh, I don't have any of those feelings. I don't care about them. I don't care what Dan does. Good for you, Dan. You got a good channel. I wish I had as many subscribers as Dan. I aspire to have as many subscribers as Dan. Now, that might freak people out. No, because he's just some guy. He's wrong about Earth, but that's about as far as my fascination in the guy ends. Same with everybody else. But when it comes to our own side, that's why it hurts. Because I want to like them. They're supposed to be on, quote, my side. So when they go around calling me a grifter to my face, like in that clip, it hurts. Yeah, that does cause me to lose sleep. Worrying about whether or not I'm going to destroy the reputation of someone on my own side in the way I call them out. So you go to them personally, and this is what you get in return. It's not worth it. You're better off destroying them, aren't you? Yeah, but that's a lot harder, isn't it? Sorry, that's a lot easier, I should say. It's a lot harder to approach them and take the detriment as they go outside of the arena, beyond you, behind your back, and destroy you because you've approached them to point out an error they're in. Well, that's life. Oh well. I'm grateful I can pay my mortgage. That's about it. Don't want to take anybody else's mortgage payments away from them, that's for sure.
If I might interject, something you could Google is perception is projection Yun. It's a form of self-projection. He's a liar, and he's projecting his own inner being onto you, Nathan.
Yeah, well put.
Yeah, it's just a problem when we go out making accusations against everyone else. Sometimes there's four fingers pointing back at us, right? Sometimes what we try to do to destroy other people backfires against us, and the only people that get destroyed is ourselves and the people we care about. That's called collateral damage. So when you're going out there accusing people of lying, and someone asks you, "Hey, where's the lie?" You better have the brass tacks instead of just sowing discord among the brethren.
Indeed.
Nathan, there's two ways to be dishonest. You can straight out lie, like with it saying that Lite needs a medium to travel through, and then claiming he didn't state that or changing his position. That's a lie, right? Straight out lie. Or there's the other way to be dishonest. That is the concealment of the truth, where you know the truth and you're not saying it. So it's like telling somebody, it's like not telling somebody that they're about to fall into a manhole. That's dishonest, right? You gave them directions, but you didn't tell them about the manhole. Why didn't you tell them about the manhole? That's dishonesty too.
Yeah.
Not informing.
That's called that's called lies of omission. Yeah, lies of omission, right?
Yeah, lies by omission, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, ball or not conceding, for example. That's dishonest. They're not lying, they're just not conceding.
Yeah. This is along the lines of what I was saying in the live show in terms of how we should behave as flat earthers now. You know, take ownership of what a flat earther is and declare it on the front foot. Earth is measured flat, rather than feeling like you've got to do a good job of disclaiming the position in a good way for your opponent so that you're okay to take it apart because you've done a good job of representing it. None of that needs to be done anymore. And not feeling like you've lied by omission when you do a poor job. It's like, don't do a job at all. Understand the arguments if you're going to come up against somebody else to debate them, or don't debate them. Now, in the case of Whitsit's lies or anybody else's lies by omission, in this case, Whitsit's, unfortunately for Whitsit, we highlight them to them, and it doesn't serve any interest that they don't react to it in a way that helps them. So, in the end, and I'm not saying this because I hope in the end it's detrimental to Whitsit, but typically in the end it is detrimental to the person who does that. It's self-deprecating behaviour on the part of Whitsit. Now, you can call it projection if you will, as Phoenix Rising did, but it's not going to help him. Now, me, I could behave irrationally or unreasonably as a reaction, or go outside of Whitsit's scope personally and destroy him by showing him to be an egregious liar, by example. You know, QE's endeavouring to do that on my behalf, even if I wasn't. Right, QE? He's probably not listening. Either way, that's not going to help us either. You know, I just don't think it's very self-serving. At the moment, I think the only thing that's going to help us moving into 2025 is upping our game in terms of our image. You know, I said this on QE show yesterday. I think 90% of how we're perceived has nothing to do with how good our arguments are. And then you back that up with 10%. It's the sometimes called the 80-20 rule, right? To get to 80% of what you need to be successful, you only need to spend 20% of your time doing it. You can achieve that with very little effort. But to get the details polished down to a finite degree, you need to spend 80% of your time getting to those last 20% of the details pegged. Well, Whitsit's got it the right way round to be successful for the short term. You quickly get exposed as a charlatan and a fraud if you do it this way round. That is to say, you don't get the details pegged down, but you get the glitz and the razzle-dazzle all sorted. and then play the 6 degrees of separation to the best of your ability, and then it's just a numbers game in a matter of time. And then you're in front of the big limelight, looking like a pretender clown and being exposed as a fraud because you didn't do the last 20%. Now, we have done it the other way around. We've got the 20%, the 80% of the details in terms of time it took to gather them, all pegged down. But we've all got image problems. We're all foul-mouthed and generally quite obnoxious, unpleasant people to be around. All of us. Well, maybe not Flatsy. So we've got image problems. We need to work on them because I see them moving forward as a bigger problem than whether or not we've got the arguments right. We can spend all day tussling about the arguments. We've got them sussed.
Is it better
Right,
to
so
be a
if
little
there's
obnoxious and truthful? Is it better to be a little obnoxious and truthful than be nice and an outright liar and deceiver?
Ask a car salesman. Ask a car salesman, Neil, that's putting food on his family's table through bullshitting about leaky old bangers all day long because he needs to feed the kids.
Well, Nathan, your point is well taken. And when we do self-reflection and internal critique upon our community, it's rife with what you've been talking about. It's also rife with flat earthers trying to cannibalize other flat earthers for whatever reason. But it's also rife with people who day in and day out are putting forth a good fight in new venues, right? Everybody's working together. Everyone's a cog in the wheel. Not everyone's a debater. Not everyone's a think tank. Not everyone's a mathematician. Not everyone's a logician, right? Everyone does their part. And when people are out there doing their part to the best that they can, and other flat earthers who are supposed to be their community to rely upon, right, are just tearing them down, laughing at their endeavors, and all this type of stuff, it takes the spirit out of people. And they're like, why would I want to care about telling people about flat earth when the community that I'm in is a shit community? Sorry. Why would I share that with
Depends
people?
on what community you're talking about.
Our community. Let's talk about us. Let's not sugarcoat it, Neil. We're in need of an attitude adjustment. We've got a PR issue, public relations issue. That's something that's easy to solve. Really easy.
And rest
Drilling people with the information.
right now, apologies, rest assured right now, our enemies are capitalizing on that.
Yeah. Just be nice and smile. Don't swear very much. Have a nicely lit background and a good microphone and you go a long way, right? No, you can only get so far with that facade. My bad, still in the middle of the same sentence that Neil's decided isn't very important, it would seem. Go ahead, Neil. That sentence wasn't very important.
I was saying, 10th Man has been saying this for the longest time, and we have been adjusting our language.
Massive shout out to 10th Man. He's right. Now, initially, I got this.
I don't consider Jiren or any of them part of the community. I'm sorry. If you do, that's on you guys.
They are.
They are. That's the facts. From the outside looking in, they are. And like it or not, that's our lot in life.
If I may interject, your turn the other cheek, Nathan, is quite biblical and the correct path. Let God deal with him later. Okay.
Yeah, brother, I have a verse for that, brother. I'm glad you said that. Here's what it says. I'll read it for you guys. Take not upon yourself wrath. Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. Give place for the Lord's judgment. What it means there is God will deal with the people he has to deal with. He doesn't need you to deal with them. He needs you to fight the good fight. So if you're out for vengeance, like he said, maybe look, let's be clear, guys. We got to be self-reflective. Some people in this community have in the past, and maybe even in the present, they have a spirit of vengeance against other people. I mean, that's human nature, right? We can't imagine that flat Earth is immune to human vice. It's not. We have to self-assess that, right?
Yeah. I got checked yesterday, but as you brought him up, 10th Man coincidentally. So I'm in QE's chat, and that vengeful spirit came out of me when Tim Osman appeared in the chat. I can best Tim. I've got the winning argument now. So I go in to best Tim. It descended him to me really really drilling into him with as much spite as I could possibly summon. I finally win. Well, that's not because I want to educate the audience, educate the chat. Yeah, I want to put Tim Osman under the thumb with the winning argument that he's battled against for all these years. Why? Vengeance against Tim Osman because he's been here for 10 years. A thorn in my side, right? One of the few people that actually irritates me on the Globe side, because it's that lasting impression from when I first got here and was green and Tim Osman was there having a little poke. That left a lasting impression right the way through till now. It'll probably be relinquished as a result of this now. But my point is that spirit that you're describing was in me yesterday when I spoke to Tim Osman in QE's chat. And ring, ring. Oh, hi, 10th. How's it going? Yeah, you might want to rein it in a bit. You know, do you remember about 6 months ago when I suggested you might want to swear a little bit less? Well, have a word. And you're like, yeah, I should really have a word, shouldn't I? And then I immediately jumped on QE's show and projected that shit straight onto everybody around me and blamed all of them for it and told them they should all have an attitude adjustment. I'm still doing it now. You know what I mean? Spewing that which I don't want to face. Go on.
Yeah, I was told off just as one of the participants for all the bad language you used.
Yeah. I did a great job of projecting it onto you guys, didn't I?
I didn't do any of this.
Yeah, but I offloaded it so well. We collectively should stop swearing. You know, that diluted the reflection I was looking at of myself and how awful it was. It made put a nice layer of Vaseline over that mirror. It was awesome. Worked wonderfully. I slept beautifully last night.
Yeah, but Tim knows how to get into your skin with that believe. You guys believe. That word triggers you when he says it.
I've got another scripture for you. Ephesians 5:11 through 14. Take no part in the unfruitful works of darkness, but instead expose them. For it is shameful even to speak of the things they do in secret. But when anything is exposed by the light, it becomes visible. For anything that becomes visible is light.
Nice.
Very nice.
Take that one.
Yeah, I don't have any hatred for anybody that we expose. I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, well, that's a problem, isn't it? Like I say,
somebody was saying we should just turn the other cheek, huh? Don't do anything. Yeah? Is that what you get from that verse?
No.
Looks like you got a little twisted outlook on scripture.
No, you're saying when you come across this darkness, you don't punish it, you expose it.
Exactly.
Right.
I'm not the punisher. I'm the exposer.
Yeah, indeed.
Follow?
Yes. And to Neil, yeah, the remnants of hatred for Tim Osman is what is at the root of what I'm trying to describe. It's just hatred's a very strong word. And in many ways, I don't like the fact that I can ascribe such a strong word to such an individual. You know, it's annoying to me that Tim Osman, whoever he may be, can induce that emotion from me. That pisses me off in a way. But as of today, the fact that I can even say that makes it kind of less important. Just saying it makes it less important. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And you do it in public as well, QE. So you could be called a public exposer.
Well, look, there's this milk toast attitude about the verse where Jesus.
I'm sorry,
says,
that might have a different meaning in English, in British English. I think it does.
1 second.
None of the Americans got that.
In America,
Yeah, what is it?
Cheeky
What is
bastard.
the
There is a
joke?
milk toast attitude about the turn the other cheek verse that just means let people beat you up. But in the context of the culture, that's not exactly what it means. It doesn't mean just somebody's beating on you, just let them keep beating on you. What it in that culture, it describes the way that you're striking the person is a particular strike. And that is an insultory strike, not a I'm beating on you strike. Right? So it's a different thing to just want to beat on someone for the sake of beating on them verbally versus exposing them for righteous reasons, right? So some people have righteous motives and some people have unrighteous motives because they want to beat on someone, right? Now, nobody can divine anyone's motives, right? Only the Lord. So as long as your conscience is clear before the
Seems
Lord,
like you are.
and you're exposing the evil, then you're doing the right thing.
Yeah, and just to add a little trifecta to these verses, I can't remember the verse, and I'm not even going to try and paraphrase it, but there's a verse about self-assessment that goes something along the lines of take the log out of your own eye before you start trying to take the splinter out of your brother's, something like that, which is to say introspection and self-assessment before you start pointing the finger. Now, I've used Simon Dunn as the example. The same thing applies. You should be able to look at your own failings and flaws before you start pointing out Dan's. Now, obviously, that sits alongside every other verse that we've had described because they're all relevant. And exposing these people for what they do as opposed to punishing them is the main theme here, right? The reason you'd want to punish them is because you've got hatred in your heart for them and you shouldn't have. That's why I feel less so now, but pissed off at myself for having hatred for any individual, Tim Osborne or anyone else.
Matthew 7. Matthew 7 is what you're talking about, Nathan.
How does it go?
It's Matthew 7. Do you want me to read it?
Yes, please. It's just because I don't know it verbatim.
Let me go pull up my Bible. I just knew it because it's been a topic recently for me. So, oh my gosh, I'm going to have trouble finding it right away. Sorry.
Well, while you find that, yeah, that is a good scripture. People should take the log out of their own eyes before they come in demanding change from everybody else to take the splinter out of their eyes.
I have.
Yep, here it is. Matthew 7. Judge not that ye be not judged, for with that judgment ye judge, ye shall be judged. And with what measure ye meet, it shall be measured to you again. And why beholdest thou the mote that is in thy brother's eye, but considerest not the beam that is in thine own eye? Or how wilt thou say to thy brother, let me pull out the mote out of thine eye, and behold, a beam is in thy own eye? Thou hypocrite! First cast out the beam out of thine own eye, and then shall thou sorry, all that old English. Then shalt thou see clearly to cast out the mote out of thy brother's eye. Give not that which is holy unto the dogs, neither cast ye your pearls before swine, lest they trample them under their feet and turn again and rend you.
Perfect.
What verse from the Bible best describes projection?
I don't know, Brian. Sorry.
No, it's just saying take it inventory on yourself before you go assess your brother.
To make it short, take responsibility for yourself before you start telling people what's what.
Yeah. And how do you take that? How do you do that? By doing inventory on your own life.
There's a more concise translation in the Rastafarian Bible. It says, check yourself before you wreck yourself.
No, it's take the tree out of your eye.
Yeah, there's another lesson in there, friends. There's another lesson at the end there. The dangers of telling other people the truth. What does it say there? It says, if you tell some people the truth, what they're going to do with it is step on it. And then when they're done stepping on it, they're going to turn around and target you. They're coming after you. Just because you told them the truth.
Yep. You know what you do? Do the same. Just do it again. It's just life. Just gotta laugh about it and still enjoy life.
So it's saying you got to count the cost. You got to count the cost of going to other people and telling them the truth, right? Sometimes there's got to be a cost.
Yep, that's what I did with Globebusters.
Hold on a second. The slaughter of Jesus Christ comes to mind.
Yeah, I described in biblical terms my endeavours on Globebusters yesterday. I did it for dramatic effect and sarcasm, but in sincerity, that's kind of what I meant, because I made that assessment. You go, this is going to cost me big. It's going to cost me a load of subscribers. Everyone's going to hate me at the end of this process. But it's got to be done. So you do it and then you lose all the subscribers and everyone hates you, and you go, yeah, I'll do it all again. That's what you got to do.
I'm sorry. I was just going to add one little thing before we move on. I think the importance of that scripture that you laid out there, Nathan, is the assessment of yourself before you assess your brother is so important, because once you assess yourself, you'll be easier when you assess your brother. So you'll do it in love and understanding because of assessing yourself beforehand.
Yes.
One of my
In
favorite
sincerity,
quotes,
as cheesy as this is, I just want to agree with you. That is precisely how I've approached, specifically Jaron. Now, this is going to sound corny, but out of love and Bob Nodell, that is how it's viewed, and in spite of knowing the detrimental effect that it will have, because you can almost predict their reaction. Yeah, but you're doing it out of a position of kindness and want for them to be in a better place, not like move on dead to a better place.
Yeah.
I know Bob's dead, but that's not what I mean.
Yeah, that's entirely biblical.
Right, and all of us that were there, Nathan, and anyone who can go back and watch it, Nathan didn't show up like rude or an a-hole at all. He was just like, hey guys, as much as it's gonna pain me, it's like, you guys you're wrong, and this is why. And they immediately had a turn against him. You could watch it play out live.
Yeah, that's what brought me here.
It kind of reminds me when Witsit came to 24/7 and nobody had said anything like he had said to the room, and he kept appealing to the room, and he said he was going to bury the server. And India wasn't even in there at the time, and he knows that that's India's server. But he said that like he's got the evil intent to bury a server that's meant for the community and to give the information, good information out to anyone interested.
No, Flatty.
Yeah, it's going to keep receipts for us too. Sorry, Brian.
Witsit is still 14. He's 14 going on 32 or something.
Right.
Don't worry about Witsit.
Yeah, that's a good assessment, Brian. He's immature. That's an immature, but at any time, there's always a level of balance that's offered, even if it's from Neil going, I like the guy, I like the kid. He's no kid, but he just is immature. So when you say those things, it does make me chuckle, because you're right to view him as a kid when you say, I like the kid. Yeah. He's got a kid of his own. I don't know if you know that. He's a fully grown man and should be doing better than he is. And yes, he's a little bit younger than some of the average age of the person on Flat Earth Debate, but he ain't that much younger, and he's no kid. Right? But he is immature.
I'm 59, so he's a kid to me.
And in the way he behaves.
And I first, when did he come on the scene? 5 years ago?
Less than that.
Yeah. So, what are you going to do?
It was sometime after COVID from memory. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's longer
Yeah,
than it seems.
where I saw him was Audit the Audit, and he was at Mount Rushmore. That's where he probably got some subscribers. He was where he was not supposed to be, intentionally trying to antagonize the police and stuff, and got arrested.
He did that with NASA too. He went into NASA's neighborhood yelling at their liars. That's childlike. Brian's right. He's very immature.
You guys remember? Did you just mention Nathan Thompson when he did that with the kids? That one was crazy. That one put Flat Earth in a really bad light. Freaking yelling at
He's
kids in a
another one.
school.
Very immature.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the average age.
Hey
here
guys,
is a bit older.
you want to go teach some people about Flat Earth? Come on with me, bro. We're gonna go to a kindergarten and yell at all the kids. Come on, join me. Get real, dude.
That attitude
Something to
led
add
him
to that. There's
Well, you're right.
sorry, Nathan.
You're correct, but he's of a particular disposition that leads him to see an astronaut in a coffee shop and then grill that guy too, right there and there on his camera phone, right? No ifs, buts, or maybes, no social etiquette, no concern for the other patrons. Just, you're going to take this interview right now, right? That's the kind of person that does that. And that kind of person also ends up shouting at the school bus, Earth's flat. And you're like, in one scenario you praise the guy, and the other you're like, no, have some restraint. Yeah, that's that type of person, though. You need those types of people in the world. But net benefit of Nathan Thompson is easy to see. Net benefit of Whitsitt is less easy to see. He just seems like a parasite. He's just sucking off the good vibes of flat Earth for his own endeavours and his own benefit. Whitsitt, that is. I don't see Nathan Thompson that way at all. Although he does make an ass of himself now and again. But he also does some crazy PR stuff. Like he walked around with a giant globe on his head at one of the conferences. Do you remember that? Nobody seems to note the crazy stuff that he's done. That's just making a splash, if nothing else. But there's no harm to it, is there? Not really. But then it goes to kindergarteners, and suddenly everyone's slapping their own face.
Do you agree with how he approached Danny Faulkner?
Hold on, Neil first, then Chocolate.
Okay.
I'm saying, do you agree how he approached Danny Faulkner? Because I didn't like that. I didn't think that was beneficial in any way.
You joking? I used that clip about 1,000 times. Yes, definitely. I love that clip. If you ever get in front of someone like that again, Nathan Thompson, please do the same. That was absolutely epic. After the fact, someone came to me and said, you do realise that when you use that bit of the clip, what preceded it was him hassling him for about 3 or 4 minutes on all sorts of questions. And when he asked him, how do you have gas pressure without a container, he'd just become sick of being asked endless questions by Nathan Thompson. I went, how wonderful! It worked out beautifully for me, because we've got a man who's on the radio telling his audience, I can answer anything, it's just because they haven't come to me. And then he's asked about how you can have gas pressure without a container, and he's got a blank stare on his face. Now, that's because he's had a barrage of questions from Nathan Thompson, who can be a bit intolerant. Then brilliant. I am so glad Nathan Thompson's intolerant, because we got that nice little soundbite of the man on the radio who said he can answer anything, definitely not answering how you can have gas pressure without a container. And coincidentally, there is no answer to that question beyond there must be containment. He just didn't want to answer it because it ruined his worldview. Alternatively, it could be as defined by the guy who was telling me to have pity on him because he was facing a barrage of questions from Nathan Thompson. I don't care how it worked out. That was a fantastic clip, Neil. Next.
All right, hold on, friends. There's another thing. There's another angle there. Yep, there's another angle going on there as well, which is that
Chocolate's
Danny
next, but go ahead.
Faulkner has Danny Faulkner in print has castigated swaths of people who are sharing his same faith as being dishonest, disingenuous, even liars, simply because they share a different view about the world than he does. So he's already shot a shot across our bow, condemning mothers, grandmothers, sisters, brothers, friends, all under the auspices of you guys are dishonest, liars, and even to countenance you is worthy of derision, right? So God forbid if he gets a little pressure from Nathan Thompson.
But is he?
But did you hear
Hold
the
on, Neil.
answer
We've got
he
Chocolate
gave
still
to
in the
that?
queue. I just want to ask AI one question off the back of that. Is he, as the Scientologist say, fair game, therefore?
Yeah, he has put his toe in the pool with the piranhas, and if a piranha accidentally bites his toe by proxy, he brought it upon himself.
Right. Go ahead, Chocolate.
Well, earlier I was just going to say I do remember Nathan Thompson running around with the giant globe head. That was hilarious. But
all right, I want to make it. Go. I'm sorry, bro. Go ahead.
No, you're good. The further point is, like, yeah, some people might not like how he approached Danny Faulkner, but the fact that in some sort of half-handed response to that, what did he try to insert? A video of a guy trying to prove gas pressure without a container using containers.
Chocolate,
Yeah, thanks for
Now
that, Danny.
Very quickly.
Let's bring up some logistical points. I'm reclaiming my time.
AI, then Brian.
How is it AI?
All right,
I was
so-
going next.
Neil, I thought you had your 2 Pennyworth. It was Neil first. Neil, then AI, then Brian.
No, what I'm
All right,
saying
go
is the response that he gave after that, or why he didn't answer the question, just puts us in a bad light. That's all.
Fair enough. Go ahead, AI, then Brian.
Okay, but meanwhile, all this is going on, friends. Danny Faulkner wrote his book, and he wrote his articles, and he's on the radio, and people know him Churches know him. Pastors of churches that I know have yielded to him as their source on this matter when it comes to their congregation and how to answer their congregation. And in the midst of that, I am in those congregations. People know me, and they know that I'm a liaison in theological matters and flat earth matters. And some of them come to me to ask my advice. Secondarily to that, Danny Faulkner has been a routine appearer or guest or whatever you want to call it on our platforms. For example, 24/7. He's gotten involved with Indio. He's gotten involved with Paula. In fact, he has a little conversation with Paula that you guys might want to hear. It's great. But the point I'm trying to make here is every opportunity that he had, we gave him this impacto. Danny, we will clear the floor. You can come forward and engage with us. You could come forward and explain why you castigated all this group of people and all these members of churches who, by the way, are the same faith as you, and you're basically condemning them. You're basically saying they're suspect. You're even questioning their salvation because of their views about the world. You're here right now listening. You're saying you're doing research for a book. Here we are. We are the flat earthers. We're ready to speak with you in a peaceful manner. I will clear the floor. I will moderate. Everyone knows that when I do that, it's completely fair to the guest. That's my track record. Did he take advantage of any of that? Ever? The only one he ever took advantage of was really with Paula. Because
No, he came on our show.
and her wanted to talk about something. He and her wanted to talk about something that wasn't really the meat and potatoes of the flat earth argument. It was about something different, even though it was a great conversation. But the point I'm trying to make is that Danny had many, many opportunities, right, to engage peacefully, and he refuses.
He engaged on our show, but he had to go to lunch.
Can I just ask, did this interaction with Nathan Thompson happen to Danny Faulkner while Danny Faulkner, that is, was at a flat earth conference?
Yeah, that's true, Brian.
Well, if you're going to be, if I turn up to a conference on beef and I start, and I'm opposing beef, I'm a whatever, right? The beef industry, and people start asking me questions, about my ethics or about whatever. I can't really complain, can I?
Yeah, I take it back. Good job, Nathan.
Maybe Nathan Thompson's process is about going through it might have been a little bit smoother or a little bit whatever people could say, but it doesn't matter. You're at that conference, that those people are there. You can't expect not to be asked questions. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I forgot that was a flat earth debate conference.
Especially in his position, someone who's actively out there literally telling lies, and selling books based off of lies.
Not only that, he's changing the Bible. He actually said that God would have caused the earth to stop spinning.
Yeah, brother, but not only telling things that are incorrect, and some things of those incorrects are lies by category when he says them, but while simultaneously doing that, he's also planting the seed in his patron's mind that the flat earthers have moral suspicion. So he's not just saying these are their arguments and misrepresenting them. He's also misrepresenting the character of the people involved in the flat earth community. And for me, that's where it crosses the biggest line.
Give me an example.
Well, I'll give you an
example. In his articles, which by the way we've reviewed multiple times, you can find the clips on 24/7. Me, Indio, and all the guys there. His articles, he basically says that he's engaged with flat earthers and he's found them to be dishonest, right, untoward, even malicious, and that a lot of the reason why flat earthers believe what they believe is for those reasons. And he's even called their salvation into suspicion, because if you can be deceived allegedly by the flat earth, then maybe you're not really a true believer. So he shot a huge shot across the bow of millions of believers. Keep in mind, Neil, that I already told you that this guy is an apologist. He is on a big forum which Christians go to. Many, many Christians, even pastors, who abdicate their duty to their flock to this man to inform them on cosmological matters. So rather than do the research on their own, they just say, oh, well, I trust Answers in Genesis. I trust Danny Faulkner. I'm just going to hang my hat on what he says. And they didn't even research it far enough to recognize that Danny Faulkner is actually accusing Christians of all this malicious stuff.
Well, Danny Faulkner, to an audience of his peers or whatever, maybe his congregation, maybe not peers, was showing the black swan, but leaving out all the important information at the bottom of the photograph. All the information that people would need to see, he left out to an audience. Now, as I said earlier, that is a form of concealment. It's dishonesty. He's not revealing the truth. So he revealed 2/3 of the photograph, but not the last one. Go on.
Correct. He's intentionally. He tried doing this to Indio. He said, "Oh, Indios, you've got this example of a boat 30 miles, and you can see it, and the curve of the Earth should be in the way. Oh, well, guess what, Indio? I've got these clips that I went out and took." Indio, like Indio does, he immediately started analyzing the photo forensically, and he said, "Yo, bro, why are you clipping this out? Why is this resolution over here not right, dude? You've edited these photographs, and you're trying to misrepresent it to everyone, dude. Why are you being a liar right now, bro?" Called him right out. Meanwhile, he's broadcasting to millions of people, and pastors of churches are going to him for the answers, and he's calling flat earthers liars while he's in a flat earth forum trying to lie to Indio.
Sorry, I was distracted with tree decorations. Is there a reason there's sudden silence? Hopefully people haven't fallen out.
Well, we were expecting you to say something on the matter.
I was being distracted. I'm being asked if I can arrange for a train to go around the base of the tree. Now, this is a fairly large logistical task that I'm being asked to do, and it needs some negotiation before my wife disappears to swimming, and I'm left with this task. So I've designated the importance level to that rather than what was going on the show. I do apologise.
Right. So what we did there, Nathan, is we had a little back and forth. We gave some evidence from certain forums. Then the other person said their evidence that corroborates that from other forums. And then, since we're on a hosted show, we left a pause for the host to make insightful commentary because he was diligently paying attention and ready to go. And then...
I see. I'm glad I was paying attention at the crucial moments where I absolutely required... That's the sound of trains coming in, by the way. Oh, what's going on? Hold on.
I wanna do something real quick.
Things are happening without my permission now. I am sorry. I should have been paying attention. Clover, what are you doing? Just stop. Right, you're gonna have to excuse me, guys. Things have now gone beyond my control.
No problem.
Flatty. He's only making dramatics.
Sorry.
I know it's the train.
If I could add to something earlier, I said perception is projection by Jung. So what we're doing, we're adults in here projecting our adulthood onto people that are literally children in mind, in emotional and emotional and intellectual state. They're teenagers, really, honestly.
Go on, Flatty.
Yeah, I just wanted to give Indio a shout out, who I'm a big fan of. He's got this eidetic memory and can recall source information on the spot. He's a genius in his own right, and he's also really awesome to just go into a room and listen to. So if you ever see him on Discord in a room and you want to pop in, just listen to him. He's clearly like a wealth of information. So shout out to Indio and his server 24/7. I love being a part of that, just like I love being a part of this over here.
Yeah, so actually, listen, friends, I got indicted by a previous homeboy's claim about adulthood. And so now I actually have to get to work instead of dilly-dallying, so I got to go be an adult. I appreciate the time today, bros, and remember, front foot forward into 2025. Good arguments out there, critiques of bad arguments out there. Peace.
Take care.
Later.
And just so you all know, Nathan was making coffee.
Yes, I agree with Brian.
Yeah, but I would like to hear. I'd like to hear more from Righteous Force because we barely hear from him. You've heard some of the information that's come out.
Holy
where have you been
unaudible
at?
nonsense, Eli. Nobody can hear a single friggin' word you're saying. It's awful.
He was saying
Like
that
your
he would like to
phone.
hear more from Righteous Force.
Well, he should say it with the phone on top of the pillow instead of underneath.
Take the phone out of your pocket before you start talking, Eli.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, Righteous Force. You're one of the first panel members. You've been here a very long time, and so over the years things have changed. I know you've been in different scenes that maybe we haven't been in. I just like you to give a little I don't know, just tell me what's been going on.
Well, Eli, I'm making breakfast right now. I don't say that much on the show. I listen mostly, right? Every now and then I chime in, but I generally keep to myself. I don't really got anything to say at the moment, so sorry to disappoint you.
Righteous Force. I would
Leave
like
me
to
alone.
give him a shout out. Righteous Force, shout out to him. I love his Bible studies and the fellowship that we get in this server. It is honestly just such a blessing.
All right. Well, glory to our Heavenly Father in Jesus' name.
Shout out, not retracted.
Yeah, shout out to Righteous.
Yeah, Righteous is a good guy.
All right, this is where we need to divert the conversation or something else, guys.
Yeah, I'll do it. Righteous. I'll do it. Eli made this really
Thanks, Brian.
with his bad mic. Did you know, Flatsy, that both Eli and D Rose can carry a tune? Now, Chocolate can rap, but I don't know if he's a singer.
Nope.
I've heard Eli sing before, not D Rose, but Eli, and it was very good. It was awesome. So I can vouch for his vocal abilities. Absolutely.
Oh, D Rose can carry a tune.
That's good to hear. I love that. I'm being a singer myself, so
He might be able to do some kind of a Christmas tree-ish or something.
the collabing on something.
Yeah. Don't include QE. That's
Oh, I was just about to say he needs a solo in there. Come on.
He's stonewalling us.
It would be good to have him as a solo because it would be so 180 degrees from the melodic sounds that 3E would be making.
He came in with fire with
on a
Ephesians.
piece of steel. Well, sorry.
No, he came in with fire with Ephesians and he's gone.
Well, it shows me that he's still here, so he might be listening.
I know how to get him. Eli, isn't it great? That if Huey did not come on the scene, how did you word that yesterday? Where would we be? Of course, when directly talking to his brother, he never answers.
I
We
only
would
speak
still be stuck
Huey
in the philosophical ether stuff, I guess.
No. Eli phrased it in a way yesterday that was really good. Eli, come on, you there?
Well, I mean, I can't really. I mean, I did it twice, and it actually came off better the second time. The third time, okay. If it weren't, for QE, in all honesty. For me specifically, I'd be trying to disprove the Bible with science. And for those of us that have listened to the show for many years, understand just how detrimental that is. And that's how much I appreciate QE. Other people have, probably similar stories, but that's not a small thing. That's a big thing. So as an individual, you know, thinking, oh, well, if I step up, it's not going to make a big deal. Just think of how big just QE's impact was and how many different things we all contribute just by being here. You got to think about that.
Yeah, I agree with you. And in fact, like natural science can confirm the Bible. And if you take certain things literally, or like the breath of life, for example, it's air. It belongs to God, so it goes wherever it wants. And the earth belongs to the earth, so that's why it goes back to the earth.
Yeah, I think he has that. QE has that in his library.
I just want you all to know that I only speak about QE behind his back when he's there to hear it.
I figured that would draw him out. And guess not. He's stonewalling us.
Well,
Maybe if we wait. Maybe if we all sing that song, QE.
I would say that my acumen for science would not be as good as it is without QE out here in this arena. But like Eli said, you brought that to my attention, by the way, that he definitely did a good job at, because I went back and I listened to QE in before he was a flat earther, and like not listened, but also watched him or his like forum debates or read them, and then I watched his earlier episodes where he talks about the Bible and all that stuff. So it was very edifying and eye-opening to me that the things that we're learning about in maybe like natural law and that kind of thing, it all ties in to the Bible in a very big way. And maybe you need to study to show yourself approved. But I would say that a big eye opener for me is when QE made it click in my mind that the capital D death is entropy. And it's like, whoa, what a revelation that is.
Yeah, one time I thought I had the cause of entropy. I said it was the fall of man. But I just found out that I'm not the only one who said that. There's a couple of people that do promote that.
Well, I don't know if you could even. The only cause of entropy is God. Entropy is a necessity. Otherwise, life can't exist as it is. Life has to end.
I'll agree. Sorry, Brian. I'll agree with Neil with that. That would be the tree of knowledge when God says you will surely die. The body, entropy entered, and with the animal skin, we also took on entropy.
Well, wait, didn't they eat fruit in the garden?
I don't know if that's correct.
I call it a metaphorical fruit, but yeah, metaphorical fruit.
Wouldn't the digestion of fruit be considered entropy?
Well, think of it this way. Adam was a pot. He was a god. They had to eat from the fruit in order to take on the animal skin and be a part of creation instead of just being walking gods. And then also they couldn't reproduce in that form. They needed the genetic code introduced into their jars. That's where you get the Adam's apple. He was a god body. So that's where the symbol of the choking on the apple comes from. His throat came into existence.
Wait a second. They were able to reproduce, because he told them be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth before the fall.
Yep.
I'd attune that to the animal cannot do Adam and Eve itself, just to clarify that.
No, but they were able to reproduce. They were commanded to reproduce before the fall.
But they didn't, did they, Neil? They didn't until after the fall. That's what I'm getting at. So I'm trying to just give you a little more clarity on the very vague genesis that it is.
We don't know that. My point is, if God told them to be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth, I'm sure they would have been able to replenish
Hold
the
on,
earth.
Neil. Now you're going. Now you're going to Noah's Ark and replenishing the earth. No, you're getting two parts mixed up.
No,
I'm going to be quiet for a minute. I'm going to go inside and just drop off some water, and then I'll head back out.
Look, he says it in Genesis. You can read it right in the beginning, and he also says it again to Noah.
You also told me that I was blaspheming the other day, buddy. Just calm down, please.
What did I say?
The other day on QE's show, I was dropping all those super chats. I literally emptied my bank account doing that. And then I was on. They had a modern day debate with McToon was on, and I dropped, "Hey, I'm that bad guy," and then he started going into some Mark guy that did the blood over 10 years ago, and I just so happened to do it just for fun, and he started calling me the Satan and all this other stuff. I'm like, that's not Satan.
I don't know who you
are.
I don't see who are you.
I've been trying to the Antichrist, buddy, the guy who tells you what's what.
Phoenix Rising.
Just a second, I gotta go.
Oh yeah, you are way off the wall.
Yeah,
or you're breaking down
I don't care about what you have to say, Neil. But if you look at my,
under the guidance of
I
the
intentionally
Holy Spirit,
put my icon. Neil, be quiet for a second. I intentionally put my icon as a bunch of books, so I'm knowledge. I'm trying to project out that I have knowledge. So it's just a picture or a family photo. I took a picture of my darn bookshelf.
Well, at least you look like you're smart.
You look like you're good at stacking books. That's
I have a question about the entropy thing. Do you think this? I mean, this might be out there, but like in Genesis 1:9, it says, "And God said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear." And it was so. Would something wet that becomes dry, would that be entropy?
That would be part of entropy, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, cool. Well, there you go.
You back off your mic just a smidge, Bushel.
Oh, sorry.
So you agree with me that the fall of man was not the cause of entropy. We know God was the cause, but what put it into effect? It wasn't sin, like I thought.
Entropy is a necessity for the world to be what it is.
But man wasn't subject to death. Like
yeah, but you're speaking about.
Yeah, but
Sorry,
you're talking about. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. I wanted to clarify, like, what the capital D death entered into the world, and then it being the Adam and Eve when they were to surely die. That would be them being put under death instead of over it.
I see what you're saying.
Well, Adam and Eve, within that paradigm, they were not living. They were eternally existing, not living life. Because life is a start and an end, So
not the way we know it today. No, not like.
Well, no, you can't call it life for them. It's an eternal existence, not life. Life is because life always ends up at death. So they couldn't have been living that because they weren't living, if you know what I mean. They were eternally existing.
That came after sin, where our days are numbered and we'd surely die in the flesh. But they were, can you say they were in their glorified state? I don't know.
Oh, I can't say anything about him because I'm not a Bible reader, but it just as a description of the basics, like that's all I threw at that. I'll be back in a minute.
But they were living because he made Adam a living soul when he breathed the breath of life into him.
Yeah, that's right. That's Genesis 2, verse 7. And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul.
Correct. Now, it changed after sin, and the countenance fell, right? And they recognized that they were in the flesh, they were naked, whereas they didn't recognize that physical body before that. Some deep stuff, man.
Yeah.
So Eli, when is there going to be another Killah podcast, Killah Priest podcast? Is that in the works for like down the road? I do remember you saying that you were trying to set it up in a way where the flat earth debate panel could be on there. Has that changed? Eli might be in the shower. Lachi, you still there?
It hasn't changed. It's still the same. Just waiting on the book now.
All right.
And I'm still here, yes.
Okay, there was a guy, I know he's in Discord. I don't know if he's there now, Democ, claiming that entropy don't exist. Well, not entropy, laws of nature. He was doubting the laws of nature. Hot going to cold. Is that what's done in Discord? Have you noticed that before?
No, I don't know what you're talking about. Is he there now?
I don't know. He was there yesterday, but like after AI left and everything, I popped in there. And that's what he was saying, challenging the laws of nature. And it's like, I don't get it because these are the things that make us look ridiculous out and about, you know?
Yeah, he's just like that. Yeah. I mean, you remember Denmark from the earlier days?
I kind of do.
Yeah, he's just like that.
It's he's in the Discord right now in the after show with us.
Right here.
So you guys can talk to him.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
say nothing about nature. I said how man interprets nature and what man you choose to use the fucking words of instead of your own, right?
You don't
Or
have to
what man
swear
you says,
because Nathan's
or
on the
what
show.
man you says no more than you.
Or now that I'm back outside again, I'll repeat myself again. Adam and Eve Adam was a darn jar. So when he ate from the darn fruit of the darn tree, he became flesh form. And he choked on the piece of apple. Neil, stop projecting.
Okay.
You just talk
We had
nonsense,
the
dude.
conversation
Anyway, I
last
said the
night.
laws that man makes
I don't
up.
care what some other people have to say about
Well,
nonsense.
wait a minute, because Democ was talking and you just like.
No,
Yeah, you
I
jumped
said
in.
I
We're
was
talking about
inside and I
something
would
else.
tell you again, and then Neil just
Well,
decided to contradict what I said.
Wait your
Go
turn.
ahead, India.
Yeah. Democ,
And I said,
please.
We were talking. Oh gosh.
Yeah, I said
Also, Bushel, back up your mic a
Einstein.
little bit.
Oh, no.
What?
Is that
Go on,
better?
Okay,
Democ.
Dimon, I may have
Yeah, go on,
misunderstood
Democ.
what you were saying yesterday. I wanted you to just break it down here today.
Yeah, any guy that you say is the smartest guy that has two better hands than you and a better brain, I don't buy the shit. So if you say this guy put something in a book, I don't give a fuck unless you saw what he did from scratch. And if he didn't manipulate all the variables and he left a lot of them out, what the fuck are you saying is the law and who said it? And where's your
Let's
reference? That's
let's
it.
try not to
Try not
swear,
to
guys.
swear. Yeah, thank
Oh
you.
yeah,
Yeah, no
yeah, yeah.
swearing.
Yeah, what's the
Nathan, you
reference?
want to
Yeah,
take
forget
this?
about that.
No, you can handle yourself, Neil. So
Okay, laws of nature are
I'll just stop the
descriptions of what
swearing.
happens always.
I'll just step in with the swearing, Neil. Go ahead.
Okay.
Or are you going to
Natural
state
laws are
those for
descriptions
nature, or
of
can
things that
nature do its
happen
own thing?
always, like heat going to cold.
And then where's it go? Then what's it do? No
I
rest
guess.
of the cycle. That's it.
Okay, so my cup of coffee was boiling hot. Now it's staying at room temperature.
You got cold water in Antarctica getting hot. Wonder why that is. Where does it go after it gets cold? It can never get hot again? What are you saying?
I've never seen cold water getting hot in Antarctica.
You've never
But I
seen
do see
cold
my
stuff get
coffee
hot.
cup going hot to cold.
What's the cycle of the seasons? What are those? Hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. What the fuck is that?
He's not able to have a conversation without swearing. I gotta go anyway.
Anyway. I'm just saying, where does it go after that? Where does cold have to go? That's like saying gravity goes somewhere and then it has magical spots that it can go to and be everywhere at the same time whenever you want it just because some guy said so. No. Some guy tells you, I think the laws of nature are like this. Unless you're the one that stated that, then I'm not going with it because I didn't state it. That's all I'm saying because I didn't state it. So I'm not in that guy's shoes. I don't know what the hell his idea was for saying that. Because if he didn't manipulate everything or make nature or do anything, like what the fuck are we even like?
Best way would be a balance, like chemical reactions. They want to balance out.
Balance out to where?
To equal, like energy states. They want to be
Equal to
they
what?
want to be in a neutral energy state.
Yeah, but is hot to cold equal? Those are the
Hot's going to
opposites.
go to cold, like your hot coffee is going to go to room temperature. It's gonna
So
the
nothing will
energy in the
ever get.
cup is going to evacuate into into the existing environment, right?
So
And it's going to equal out.
once something gets hot, I don't know how it got hot. I don't know how it ever
Well,
got hot from
you
cold.
put
How did the hot
you
stuff
put
get
something
hot?
into it. You put energy into it. You
Yeah, but
turn
how
your
did it
kettle
get
on and
hot
you
from
send.
cold? How did it go from cold to hot instead of hot to cold?
That's the process, right? Now, if you
Well, I
take
don't
like a
know. It's supposed
thermos,
to be
right,
high to low, hot
and
to
you
cold. I
isolate
didn't
it.
know.
Hold
I
on,
didn't know
hold
it's
on.
supposed to be hot to cold to
If
hot.
you make it, if you make an isolated system, you can keep that hot object, but we can't make a true isolated system. You can keep that hot object hot for a very long time, right?
Can you stop the wind?
No. That's a high pressure, low pressure relationship. It's a law of nature.
Can you stop life?
Stop death.
No,
Someone
life
from
itself. Just life from happening. The word life altogether in general.
you can't get life from non-life.
I
You
said, can you
can
stop it?
stop it, like kill a bacteria. Is that what you
Can you
mean, or?
stop life altogether? Like no life. Can you stop it? Can anybody stop life? Can you manipulate life to stop
Well, if we stopped it, we'd all die, right? It's
it? So
like
we can't experience the manipulation of like the real things like being stopped, right?
no, because we're in a running engine if you think about it. So people going like, "Where's God? Where's God?" If you open the veil and went, "Hi," we'd all perish, right? We should be wrecking
We
the.
didn't start the engine. What starts the engine? If the engine always dies and stops working, how is it working? Like, how is there ever
It's
hot
just running
things?
right now.
Well, if everything can only get cold and it just has to sit cold now, wouldn't it just be winter wonderland forever, everywhere, and that's it?
Um, I'll drop an image in the. It's very simple, like where we live kind of thing. I'll drop it in the text chat, and you can take a look at it for you. I'm just
I
walking.
want to
I'll
know.
figure it.
I mean, like when you're in the cold places, how's hot stuff happening there?
Well, it's like, are you
What's the
talking like
dispute then?
volcanoes? Like
Antarctica,
it's an eternal flame. Like the soul is eternal,
rushing
right?
water.
So there's an eternal flame burning, keeping this engine running. It's the fuel for the
Kinetic
pistons.
energy.
If you think, well, there's like in Let There Be Light, why Bob Nodell he stressed himself out and like killed himself over Let There Be Light. It was the black sun. So
Yeah,
God
I don't know
created the
anything
black
about
sun the
that.
first day, and then someone brought up the earth coming up on the second day. So God had to cut himself in half. Put all the negatives, rot, decay, so forth, down below. Make
Okay,
the earth even come up.
you guys are
I don't know
talking
what
past
you're
each other.
talking about.
Yeah, you guys are talking past each other now. We're gonna move on from this.
I'm gonna
Right, so
What was the point of
My main,
contention, Righteous?
I just want to say
that's
my main
fine.
thing. My main thing, like when you grab a hose and there's cold air coming in it, and then you grab the hose and it's hot, and then on the other opening, when the air comes out, it's cold. So it's cold, hot, cold, right? Or else there wouldn't be the cycle. That's my only point. There's a cycle for some reason. It doesn't just stop, like entropy or breakdown. Stop. Everything just done. Shit keeps going. Cycle happens somehow. Might not be with you or me. We might stop, personally. But other than that, I don't know. That was all.
So did we find out if you can sing with all the voices of the mountain and paint with all the colors of the wind?
You can hit a You can make musical instruments. You can hit a tuning fork. I don't know. I don't know what songs a mountain sings. They're probably awesome. If I had to be mountain material to mimic them, correct? Maybe crystals.
Okay, I put it. I found it finally. I took some pictures, so it was buried. It's just a little drawing, and you see we're inside of a cube, and then God has his cube up above his tesseract,
Wait,
and then below is the
Phoenix.
tesseract.
I
Yeah,
said
yeah, 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 yeah. I'll shut up and I'll leave.
Yeah, yeah. DMAC wasn't engaging you in that stuff, so there's no reason to engage him back. But he's gone anyways.
Oh no, he's good. I wasn't. Yeah, I wouldn't even. Yeah, I wasn't trying to reply to him much because I don't know what he's saying. Yeah,
Righteous, what was
I
the
was
point of
trying to.
contention? What was that about?
Well, they weren't. You see, what DMAC was talking about was not what he was talking about. They were both talking about their own thing, so they weren't meeting together at all. They were talking past each other, right?
Yeah, I
So it
got
might have
that. Right.
shut down the conversation. Yeah, DMAC even just said so himself right now. He's like, "Yeah, I'm not touching that stuff." Nor did he know what he was talking about.
Yeah, I don't know about black hole suns. My thing was with Neil. I guess Neil was talking about me. I wasn't in here, so I came in here to see what he was asking. And my thing wasn't nature. I wasn't saying I don't like nature. I said nature is the thing I do like. Action, reaction, what we can experience, what we can see and demonstrate. I'm always with that. I've never not been with that. What I'm not with is if you open a book to chapter 5 and Billy Bob Thornton says he has some special law that you haven't went over. You haven't done the steps that Billy Bob Thornton has, and you actually don't know what Billy Bob Thornton has actually done. Just because he put 3 things in a book doesn't mean that he's done everything and manipulated the variables of life, reality in any form to like say like so when do you stop manipulating a variable to see your cause or effect, right? When's the good time? If you got 20 different things that can cause the same effect, when do you stop and pick one? You understand? Like, and then here we are. That's all.
Well, in that circumstance, you just manipulate one thing at a time. And if it causes the effect, then you've proven that that caused the effect. Now, you can do the same thing with something else and prove that that also causes that similar effect. But that doesn't change the validity of the first one. If you know
Right,
what I
but
mean.
which one of these gentlemen? Yeah, no, I'm 100% with you, brother. Which one of these gentlemen can manipulate the earth itself in any way? How about the medium of reality that we exist in? Like this thing that we wave our hand in. You can't get rid of that totally, especially if you're in a room in a lab, right? You're in there.
Well, you can't.
There's things,
You can't do that.
right. So there's
It's
things
not
we
even.
can't manipulate to actually see whether we can uh, find out the causal effect to a certain extent. Not to say we don't agree upon action, reaction, and these things happening. Like I said, that's what we have to agree upon, because if that's what happens, I'd be a nut to say that's not happening. But I'm saying that's not the end all be all. That's not, and if you word it a different way than me, it's not to say you and I are wrong, right? One of us might be
Well,
more agreed with than the other, right?
well,
So you
you
got,
can only.
yeah,
It's only a case of natural cause. The, the natural cause of a natural effect. That's as far as you can go. You can't do anything other than that. So you can show that heat causes water to boil is the most simple. That's very simple. You can show that. So heat will cause
correct.
water to boil. But you can't manipulate the earth. You can't. It's like with the astronomers talking about giving stories about the sky. You can't manipulate that in the sky. They're just things you experience. You experience them visually.
Correct.
You don't experience them tangibly. What can you do? You can do nothing about it.
Right. So the laws of motion of some satellite and Kepler and all this other shit, and they're like, we derived these. You had to derive them from the motion of the medium you live in, and action and reaction. If you didn't, then you're full of shit.
But let's just take that as an example, Kepler. All Kepler did was try and back engineer the sun cycle we observe for every 12 months of every year into some kind of a solar system paradigm. And that's all he did. And what they call his laws of motion, his laws of planetary motion, they mean nothing outside of the paradigm that they exist in. And if that paradigm is not real,
Correct.
and it's not, then they are nothing. They're not a law of anything,
Correct.
are they?
Right. And that's my only thing. I'm not saying that stuff that we see happens isn't happening for the 5 millionth time. And if you and I sat there and did something, I'm not going to look at you and be like, no, I think that ball we just spun, no, I think water's going to stick to it, brother. No, I got hopes and plans for that ball. And you'd be looking at me like I'm nuts. No, I wouldn't do that. I'd say, this is what we see and experience. I'm not going to make any damn laws about it. I'm not going to say now, because we see that water doesn't stick to this, that anything has to do anything. I'm going to say, this is what we've observed today thus far. And then we can build. You know what I mean? Like, what? I can't say what stuff has to do. 'Cause I never made the shit. I
Well,
know
the truth is,
the incapability of water.
well, the truth is that we know very little, to be honest with you. There's a lot of people claiming we know a lot. And that's really what's going on. If we actually knew all the things we claim to know, the debate between flat and globe wouldn't exist. You know what I mean?
Correct. There would be no debate if we actually knew all these things. And I'm not saying that anything's magical or we're not on flat earth. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying we haven't measured that and found that to be true.
But there's a lot of other stuff that, there's a lot of stuff out there that's claimed to be fact and true. Like, look, stupid things like gravity and, other things like, as you brought up earlier, planetary motion, all this other rubbish. It's like that's only all conventions within our a paradigm we made up. And that paradigm is outside reality. The paradigm we made up is not in alignment with reality. So instead of just accepting that's wrong, we want to make up more stuff and then claim that to be true as well. It's like, no, we just don't know things. It's that simple. We know what we actually know is very small in amount. Let's be
Yeah, but
honest.
we do know that natural law is real. I mean, hot goes to cold.
Yeah, but
gotta do
we
something.
don't know the cause of that. We just know that hot goes to cold. We don't know. We don't know that what cause can you give it other than God? Other than that, you can't give it any cause. That's the cause of it, and God's the cause of all things. So,
and don't stop there. You can't stop hot to cold and stop there. What else? Is there another exchange that keeps going? Like, why
high
did
pressure
Bob
to low
say?
pressure.
this, and that's it, right? Yeah, but then
Well,
how does it get?
yeah.
How does it get to high pressure from low pressure? So it's got to keep going. There has to be a cycle. So somebody
Oh, well,
stops this
yeah.
cycle on us. Yeah, that's it. That's all I'm saying.
Well,
It's the sun.
I mean, cycles. The sun drives a lot of entropy. Yeah, but the point being is that when it comes to natural law, what they call natural law, entropy, the laws of thermodynamics, they're descriptions of effects we see happening all the time, but we don't know the cause of them. We can't find the cause of them. We don't even know where to start. Outside of saying God, but God is the cause of everything. So that's kind of not giving us the natural cause. If you know what I
Right.
mean.
It's
There
just
may
a
not be
big
a 3D. They may not
yeah.
create a 3D world cause. The cause might purely be God, and that's it. And that means we'll never find out in our 3D reality. We'll never be able to find out the cause of what flowing the code, because we
So God is
can't
reality.
manipulate something that's outside of our reality.
Correct. Correct. And we can't manipulate all of our reality at once. I can't manipulate your reality for me. Now I can do some trick stuff on a stage, but I can't actually manipulate your reality. I can manipulate how you perceive reality to a certain extent sometimes, you know, with like TV and tricks and illusions and mirages and shit, you know. But I can't actually bend the material shit the way I want
I swear.
unless I physically do it.
Well, our reality is the same reality. We just might try and claim it as different to each other. And both of us might
That's what I'm
both be
saying.
describing reality incorrectly. We might both be dishonest, being dishonest with ourselves.
Right. We might see something and actually think about it or perceive it in our mind as working this way, and the other guy perceives it as working this way. And we both might
And that
be
might
right
work a
and
completely different way.
yeah, yeah. So it's like, who's to say who can put down a law as a guy? Yeah, if I wrote down Democ's law says this needs to happen and it has to happen always. Like somebody tomorrow, I swear to you, would come along and be like, no, what about this? And I'd be like, well, shit, I had to go back to the thing, and then we'd make
Well,
it. We could
certain
all make
things.
another law, and yeah,
Yeah, but
as soon as you claim
but
something,
you could say certain things. Like you could say, right, the gas laws. There'll be certain things that you can say that about. You can say, gas always behaves in this way when temperature is introduced, when the temperature is risen. You bring in heat, add heat to it, add energy to it, and gas behaves in this way all the time. You could say, that is a law that never does not happen. But when someone comes along and they have the laws of planetary motion, now that's a load of rubbish. That's the difference. It's the hijacking of what someone just detailing natural effects correctly, and one person's just detailing natural effects correctly, effects that always happen, right? And the other person's making stuff up basically.
right, like everything down, just everything down, no up, everything down.
Everything down.
Just crazy.
Yeah, but that's
And
not
where do you
even a
go with that?
reality. Everything down.
Correct. But that's not what I'm just saying. That's a thing that gets repeated a lot. Everything goes down. Like, huh? What? Hold on, what? And then there's a rate of that when that's not even what huh? So who
What
said
about
these
the
things? Like that's
clouds?
just weird. Oh no,
You're
I'm
gonna
not
need a
saying they do, brother.
horizontal baseline for down, mate.
Can I just say, I have added a train to the base of my Christmas tree.
Choo choo.
Yeah, just a minor distraction for a second. I'm suddenly in negotiation with my wife about whether or not there's going to be a Christmas tree with a train at the base of it. Then I'm being asked, well, what's your opinion on this matter, Nathan? I'm like, what? Oh, I was distracted for a second. What's going on? Well, you're supposed to have been listening. We're asking for your opinion. Oh, I'm really sorry. I was distracted with a train that I might not wanting to be. Next thing I know, the Lego brick with all the train stuff's being dragged in and it's plonked down and and I'm like, oh my God, this is happening, isn't it? Then my wife just ran out the door, took the other one swimming, left me with that to deal with. She knew exactly what she was
Nathan, you
doing.
got to get a more simple train. You don't get a Lego train set. You get the one I got, FAO Schwartz. 9 tracks connected and 4 cars. That's it. There's your train. 1, 2, 3.
You get the super turbo train, the one that goes up the wall.
around and all that.
No, I'm not playing Fortnite. Honestly, I've just posted a video in Master B for you, Brian. You can check it out for yourself. I've published it, so you can see the train and the tree.
Lie. I know you're not telling a lie. I'm joking. Especially now that you have a video of it, I can't do anything about that. Now I definitely have to concede.
I don't know. I can't really take video evidence, you know. In the age of AI, these special effects and deep fakes and stuff. You never know.
So I've gone to AI and gone.
Nathan is a shady guy. You don't know what he's into.
I've gone, hey AI, can you create a deep fake of my daughter playing with a train beneath a tree, please?
Well, I'll tell you what, I got out of it all yesterday because I can't do anything. I'm injured. So my sons and my wife did the tree and everything else. I just laid on the bed and watched.
So you went from recovering to I'm in bed.
What am I going to do? I can't help you. I can't lift these boxes. I can't do anything.
Yeah, you're doing the right thing. Yeah, you're doing the right thing. Just sit back, lie on the bed, do what you're supposed to do, get better. Not selfish,
The train looks
self-preservation. Sorry, go on.
Just saying, the train looks mint. I think you should keep it. It looks great.
Oh, one day.
Yeah, man. How you doing?
Oh, hey, how things? Sorry.
I just watched the video of Nathan's. Yeah, the train's great.
Yeah, considering I boshed it up in the time you guys have been chatting, I don't think that's half bad. It's got like a whole bunch of bed linen and duvets and pillows at the base of the tree to raise it up to the height where I can put a cloth over it and then lay the track down and get the train to actually function. I'm quite impressed. Needs must, man. I wanted to be sat back down. I'm like, how can I get this to work in the first attempt?
And I can't even put mine up because I'm going to wind up showing you up. That's a good trick with the pillows, though. I didn't think of that.
Well, my wife now, she they call me the Grinch in the house because I go mad if anything Christmassy comes into play before December at least. And one of our friends put the tree up quite early. One of our friends put the tree up quite early, and I could see my wife getting sort of like, I want to put the tree up, and I'm saying no, and I'm getting called names and all that. Anyway, what I noticed 2 weeks ago, I came home from work and I just looked. I sat down. I've been sat down for an hour, and then I just looked out the corner of my eye where the fire is, and there was a wooden snowman that we only bring down at Christmas from the cupboard where we keep the stuff. So she'd brought that down, and then the next day
November.
I came home and no, there was something else in the corner the next night. So she's doing it very gradually, so as if I won't notice if it just all happens slowly.
You're not going to know
Rather than
the little build up of stuff in the corner.
yeah.
Mine does that every year, but normally I'm the Grinch about it too until December, at least December. Like ideally mid-December, Christmas tree starts to go up and such like, right? But that never is the case anymore. But anyway, this year, because it snowed at the end of November, I'm like, I do actually feel quite Christmassy, so I don't object. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think December is a good point. I think November is too early to be putting up a Christmas.
It is. It's supposed to be the second week. It's supposed to be the second. Well, actually, technically, and I know being raised in New York, it was when the Thanksgiving Day parade, when Santa came down 34th Street to Macy's, it was the official Christmas season. And any time after that, you could put up straight. But mine was always the second week in December because I always had a dog. And dogs like to piss on trees.
So did the dog, what did you do with the dog in Christmas time?
Well, I figured instead of putting up early and have to watch him for a month.
I know, watch him for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I need a new Christmas tree and lights and everything because I have a cat. Well, he's only just over 1 year of age, only 12 months or something old. But last year he was a kitten, and he tore those lights and tree apart. There's no tree and lights left. I couldn't even plug him in. It was deadly. He was going to electrocute himself. So I had a tree there with lights not plugged in, unless the door was closed. But then there's no one in the room to see it. The kitten just annihilated the tree and the lights.
We're going about trees a lot, I know, but my dad makes me laugh. Since my mum went into a home with dementia, but he's got one of ththese trees that it's just only a small tree, but it's one of them that you just pop up and it's got some lights already on it and a couple of baubles and all that. So, but then what he does, he'd had it up a few years previously, and then what he does now, he calls me up because he can't get in the loft anymore and get up the ladder. He's got some ladders going into the loft. He'll say, go and get us you go and get us the tree down. So I'll get the ladders down, climb up into the loft, and I turn the light on in the loft, and there's the tree. It's all already up, and the lights are on, sort of thing, and all the baubles. So I just have to carry it down the loft, down the stairs, and just plonk it in the corner. So it's all done. And then when Christmas is over, he'll go, can you come and get the tree and put it back in the loft? And I just put it, so it just stays as it is in the loft, and then it comes down, and he doesn't do anything with it, decorate it or anything, just puts it up. It's quite funny. It's one of them you have to be there jokes, probably.
No. What people should have is some kind of a tree that comes with all the stuff on it, with just a lead there at the end of it to plug it in. And at the end of Christmas, you just put a special cover over it, like a car cover for a car, one for a tree, and it holds everything in place, and you just put it back wherever you got it. Because it's a pain, especially with all the lights. You know, when all the lights are all... Someone's after last year, instead of doing the right thing at the end of Christmas, they decided to just stuff them in a box any old way, and you take them out, you have this football of Christmas lights in your hand.
So I guess QE's still stonewalling us, huh?
Yes, it seems so. Yeah, I only made that Christmas tree video to show you what I'd spent my time last 10, 15, 20 minutes, however long, doing. And then I've just looked back at it and I'm like, actually, this looks quite good. It's like, yeah, because this is a studio and I've got studio lighting and of course it looks good. So I'm quite impressive Christmas tree video. I'm half joking. Okay then, is that everyone all took it out? It's day after Boxing Day when this goes out to the public. Everyone's going to be very stuffed full of turkey. Clearly
no,
so.
I was just watching
This
the
is going
video.
to be a Thanksgiving one?
What, Neil?
Is this going to be supposedly a Thanksgiving episode or a Christmas episode?
This will go out to the public the day after Boxing Day.
And you just have turkey on Boxing Day.
You have turkey every day for about a week after Christmas,
what is
don't you?
Boxing Day? When is Boxing Day?
Day after Christmas.
And what is that? I don't know what that is. I know I've heard it before, but never looked into it.
Everyone gets together and they get into like this square sectioned off part of their house and then all punch each other repeatedly for a day. It's good fun. Anyway,
I thought that was called dinner.
Oh, you call that Christmas dinner? We call that Boxing Day. I'm going to round out. With that, another huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G+ panels for making today's after show possible. And of course, a massive thank you to all of you for liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, smashing the super chat and all that good stuff. I've been Nathan Oakley and I will see you all in the next video.